Cable and Robert Warren Mobile Television Productions present the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable, the power of you. Tonight, it's the 4AA Western Regional Championship game being played here at Independence High School, where the Patriots are 13-0 on the season, and they take on Richmond Senior, 10-3-1 on the year. This is Paul Daugherty along with Tommy Love from the field here at Independence High School. It's going to be a cold night for football, and we've got two teams, Tommy, that are used to this atmosphere. Of course, we've seen both programs recently here on Time Warner Cable. Let's talk a little bit about Richmond.
Well, with Richmond, they're kind of a three-back type of backfield. All three running backs had over 80-plus yards last week against East Forsyth. But you also have to be really careful about Tedarrius Wiley, their star quarterback. He's the one who kind of makes this thing go. He's got to make smart decisions tonight. And most importantly for the Raiders of Richmond County, don't turn the ball over. The last two games, they've only had one turnover. They have to keep possession of the ball tonight.
Tom Knotts, legendary head coach here at Independence, has his guys where he feels like his program belongs at this time of the year, and that's poised, perhaps, to go on to the state championship game next weekend. Of course, all those games right here on Time Warner Cable. But talk a little bit about the tremendous Independence Patriots.
Well, whenever you talk about Independence, you have to talk about Anthony Carruthers, their star quarterback. He's got over 3,500 yards passing this year. I think it's 34 touchdowns on the year. He's somebody that if he's not throwing the ball well, he's got a slew of receivers, 5-star receivers. If they're all covered for some reason, he can just run it. He can just keep it on the ground, tuck it under his arm, and he's a threat from all over. He can turn a broken play into a 20-yard gain in a heartbeat.
Independence, of course, #1 in the state. They've had the home field advantage throughout. Richmond has been on the road the last couple of weeks, and if they're going to go to the state championships, they're going to have to do it on the road one more time. Well, our pregame show will continue in just a minute when we talk with CMS Athletic Director Vicki Hamilton. Welcome back, everybody. Our pregame show continues with CMS Athletic Director Vicki Hamilton. Vicki, thank you very much for joining us. A pleasure, as always, to be here for the Western Regional Playoffs. Before we get started, though, I do want to ask, we've, of course, done a lot of games at the American Legion Memorial Stadium. Talk about the decision-making process and why we're here at Independence tonight.
Great. And first of all, it's great to be back, Paul, with you. Love being your sidekick sometimes. Memorial Stadium, always a popular place to play. The schools, both schools made the decision to play at home tonight. It is Independence's home game. They can seat 5,000. They were in conversations with Richmond County officials. Both schools felt like that, they could have it here. Keep in mind now, there's a percentage that goes to the High School Association, then you pay your expenses, and then both schools split what's left. So they were looking at that bottom line profit. I feel like we can get our fans in tonight from Richmond County and from the Charlotte area as well. So I think we're going to have a great time tonight. We'll have some people, and they'll be standing room only, but we'll kick off at 7:30.
We certainly will have some people. One thing, of course, the home fans here fired up. Their guys are back where they feel like they belong, which is in that regional playoff game. But Richmond County, they travel pretty well, and their fans come early. It's a little bit of an intimidation factor, but it's kind of cool to see it. The visiting fans line up early and then take their seats in the stands before the other guys get here.
It is indeed, and Richmond County has a long history of fans that we say they travel well. That we've played them for many, many years. When they have home games, a game that may not have a lot of people would be a 10,000 seat game. They've had as many as 30,000 people at games before. But as I came in earlier tonight, it was wall-to-wall cars, and they were all coming from Richmond County.
That's right. We followed some of those in, actually, as we got ourselves into the stadium and to get ready for tonight's game. Looking forward to a great matchup. Before we get to it, though, I want to ask you about some CMS issues. Talk a little bit about, if you wouldn't mind, the process of becoming a student athlete. There'll be a lot of junior high school or middle school kids watching, maybe even younger than that, and they'll be tuning into this game thinking maybe someday they'll play at the high school level. Talk a little bit about what they need to do to get themselves ready.
Well, we have our process where once you start in the 9th grade, you have to show 2 proofs of residency. We want to see a energy bill or a gas bill or a driver's license, but you must show 2 proofs in order to verify that that's where you live. As you know, we've had issues in the past with residency, and we want to be sure that our student athletes are right on the line. And then academically, we have the highest standards of academic requirements in the state of North Carolina. Not only do we require what the state association requires for academics, but we also have a 2.0 GPA. So every young man and woman that you see out on the playing field or the basketball court or the tennis courts in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, you know that they not only are academically eligible because they have a 2.0, but they can also be recruited to colleges and universities in Division I and Division II.
Well, I'll put you on the spot. Your team is undefeated here in the Independence Patriots. They've been in that situation before. What do you think you're going to see tonight?
Well, Paul, this is a great time because normally I cannot make a prediction because there are 2 Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools playing, but I can go outside the box tonight, and we're going to absolutely give the nod to Independence. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns. It's going to be a clean game. I think Richmond County will be able to give them some challenges at the line, but Independence is too rich on the offense, and you're going to see a high-scoring game.
Well, you heard it here first. We'll see what happens. Our pregame show will continue right after this. Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week continues. Our pregame show from the ever colder field here at Independence High School, and I'm joined by the athletic director at Richmond Senior, Hal Schuler. Coach, a couple weeks ago we covered your game against West Charlotte, and I would bet that if that game was played 100 times, the result probably would not be that one again. I think that was a huge win for you, and it seemed like everything went wrong for West Charlotte, and a lot of things went right for you guys.
Totally. I tell you what, it was just one of those nights. You know, one of those nights they put it on the ground and we were able to take advantage of those turnovers. And, you know, I credit our kids, but it's a tough night for West Charlotte. But anyway, just one of those nights. Everything went right.
Everything went right, and then you had to go on the road to play East Forsyth, a great program, number 2 seed. You've now been on the road 2 straight weeks. You got the win at East Forsyth. Talk a little bit about that as sort of a setup for tonight's game.
Well, that's a tough place to play. I tell you, they had a great crowd. They were 11-2, 12-1, something like that, and played well. We just jumped on them early, and you know, I just credit our kids right now. Have kind of hit a spurt where they're playing real well and doing some good things on both sides of the ball, and you know, we're excited for them to be here and play. It seemed like it hadn't been a bad thing being on the road this year.
Well, I was going to ask about that. We talked about it with Vicki Hamilton. We know that your home stadium is pretty legendary. You've had to be on the road 2 weeks in a row. This place is tuned up. They're ready for you. What's it going to be like to be on the road a 3rd straight time?
Well, I hope it's going to be a good thing. We would certainly rather be home, but, you know, if we can't be home, we'd just soon be here. You know, Independence and Richmond have a great history. We hadn't won recently, but we got a lot of respect for their program, a lot of respect for their town and what they've been able to do here, and we just hope we'll come out and play well tonight.
Well, I can't put you – well, I'll do it. I'll put you on the spot. Coach, what do you think about a prediction for tonight? What are the kind of things you think if your guys are going to be in a position to win, what are the things they're going to have to do tonight?
If you're going to ask me if I'm going to predict, I'm going to predict a Raider victory because I'm pulling for the Raiders all the way. But I think you're going to see a hard-fought game. I think you're going to see a well-coached game on both sides. I think you're going to see a great high school football game in a Western final. And I think we can see that tonight.
Hal Schuler, athletic director from Richmond Senior. In a second, we'll be talking with the athletic director here at Independence High School, Kelly Lewis. We'll be right back.
All right, good job.
All right, man. Thank you very much. We promise we'll get this Western Regional Championship game off the ground in just a couple of minutes. But first, I want to talk with athletic director at Independence High School, Kelly Lewis. Coach, you guys have been in this situation many times before. Talk a little bit about the success and the feeling you have as you see your guys in position perhaps to go on to the state championship.
Well, we always fortunate to be in this position. We've been in this position for 8 years now, and we've had a good time, and we've had lots of quality players and student athletes, and they're off in the colleges, and some are now getting ready to go their pro careers. And so it's just been a blessing that we've been able to have the success we've had since Coach Knotts came here in 2000.
Well, Coach, you had to do it kind of the hard way, which is beating West Meck, East Meck, and Butler. Of course, you take on Butler at the end of the year to win the conference, and you did that this year on our show. But talk about those fine programs, and what's it like to have to face teams like Butler 2 times in a year?
Well, our conference is tough. I mean, South Meck's playing in the 4A state semifinal tonight, and they're one of our conference teams. And we played 2 of our conference teams in the playoffs in the 2nd and 3rd round. East Meck is building a great program. They've been strong the last 3 years in a row. We're tri-conference champs with us and Butler last year. So our conference top to bottom. Providence is a good team. I think we have one of the toughest conferences in the state, and it just says a lot that we can go through that in the manner that we have.
We've had 2 predictions so far. We'll put you on the spot and give you the tiebreaker because Vicki Hamilton, your athletic director for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools, she senses an Independence win. Hal Schuler, athletic director at Richmond, of course, going with his guys, so you get the tiebreaker.
All right, well, the tiebreaker is obviously going to be Independence. That's an easy tie to break. So we've been in these situations, and we'll take care of business.
We're looking forward to an outstanding football game right here on Time Warner Cable. The Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week continues. Right after this, we'll bring you our keys to the game and tonight's kickoff. As our pregame show continues, the Patriots marching band come on into the stadium. A great home crowd on hand. As always, Richmond travels pretty well. They filled up the visitors' side. Tommy, this is Paul Daugherty along with Tommy Love, and we'll get right to our keys to tonight's game, and then we'll take a break and come back with our kickoff.
Well, I think, on Richmond's side of the ball, I think time of possession is huge for them. As long as they have possession of the ball, it's going to keep their defense fresh. And they need fresh legs in order to chase Carruthers around that group of receivers. Also eliminate the big plays. Last week, Independence returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown that kind of just set the momentum early versus Butler. So I think that's huge. And as I mentioned earlier, make sure they don't turn the ball over. They only have 1 turnover in the last 2 weeks, so keep possession of the ball. And on Independence side, I think Carruthers, they need to get started early. If they can put some points on the board early, get that momentum, and kind of break the spirit of the Raiders, that's going to have them in a good position for the rest of the game. The last thing, find a way to stop that triple threat offense. As I mentioned earlier, 3 running backs for Richmond last week had over 80 yards. Find a way. There's a lot of options. They must stay disciplined on the defensive side.
A lot of offense on the field tonight. 2 pretty good defenses as well. We're looking forward to a pitched battle here at Independence High School. We'll be right back with our kickoff for tonight's game. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready for our kickoff here for the 4th AA Western High School Championship game being played here at Independence High School. The Patriots 13-0 on the year up against Richmond Senior. The Raiders 10-3-1. Both teams we've seen recently right here on Time Warner Cable. We're looking forward to an outstanding football game. It's going to be a cold night for football, and we are ready to get it on here. 2 teams getting set to come out onto the field. Looks like Richmond lining up in their end zone. Part of the Independence Patriots on the field. There's a look at the Raiders. Richmond Senior in the yellow jerseys. We're going to have a couple of color-coded teams there tonight, Tommy.
Yeah, it's a good thing because
you know, basically all it looks like almost all they did, the only difference here are the green jerseys. Everything else is the yellow. And if it's not for those green jerseys, quarterbacks will be throwing it to the wrong team.
And there's a look at the Independence end of the field. The big eye, they call it here. Our captains will head out onto the field for the coin toss. And looks like the Patriots sending out a whole bunch of guys behind their row of captains. I
think the initial fight here at midfield is going to be won by Independence based on the numbers alone.
That's right. Well, once again, we'd like to thank Vicki Hamilton, the Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools Athletic Director, for joining us at the top of the show, as well as Independence Athletic Director Kelly Lewis and Richmond Senior Athletic Director Hal Schuler. There's a look at the Patriots in the green jersey, the Richmond Raiders facing the camera as the official discusses the coin toss with our captains tonight.
The all-important coin toss here to see who's going to have the high-powered offense first. Both of these teams can definitely put some points on the board. And, you know, this opening kickoff right here, as we mentioned, could be crucial because Independence returned the kickoff last week with Lawrence Martin going for about a 95, 96-yard touchdown right off the bat in about 15 seconds.
Well, it looks like the Patriots will receive to start the game. So Independence will get it going. They'll celebrate a little bit with their captains at midfield and then head to the end zone so we can get the official full effect, Tommy, as the two teams storm onto the field. Once again, this is the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. And we are at the end of the road here, the Western Regional Playoff game between the Independence Patriots and the Richmond Raiders. It's the 4AA playoffs. The winner of this game goes on to the state championship game that will be televised live on News 14 Carolina on Time Warner Cable throughout the state.
Well, we definitely have the traditional here. One team running through the banner, kind of, you know, what the spirit of high school football is about. And they even come through with their own smoking, you know, machines here, you know, Richmond on the road.
And here they come. Richmond Senior, the Raiders. All right, we'll talk about traditions. I mean, the two schools with tremendous athletic tradition. The Raiders with several state championships in their trophy case.
Definitely two of the most storied programs in the state right here. When you talk about high school football on any level, you have to bring up these two teams, especially here more recently with Independence.
And here's a look at the Patriots as they rush onto the field. Independence 13-0 on the year. And a home crowd here in a little town of Mint Hill, just outside of Charlotte. In fact, I think I saw a Charlotte city limit sign, so I don't know. What's going on, Tommy?
Well, right when it's one of these areas, I think, where, you know, it's kind of Charlotte on one side of the street, Mint Hill on the other side of the street.
There you go. We're talking with Vicki Hamilton, the athletic director at Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. She said it's kind of a decision that's made from week to week, whether or not they'll play the game at the home stadium or if they'll transfer it to Memorial Stadium where there's that big-time environment. But when you've got a chance to just pack a high school stadium like this, it's pretty exciting. Because unless, you know, that place seats about 20,000 over there, so unless you've got a monster crowd, it starts to look a little empty up there in the upper reaches. But as you can see across the field there, Richmond has filled the visitor side. And, of course, we'll have plenty of opportunities to see the home crowd here at Independence High School. But the Patriots marching band is on the scene. There's a pep band on the Richmond side. Both cheerleading squads in action tonight, and we're looking forward to a tremendous football game. There's a look at Coach Tom Knotts, legendary head coach here at Independence. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure, I think he's got the shorts on. Yes, he does.
Always does. I think that's a tradition. Those shorts, maybe that's one of those little lucky superstition type things, and that's the reason he's got so many those championship rings. And before long, he won't have enough fingers for all of his rings.
And the Richmond Raiders will kick it. Lawrence Martin is deep to receive. They'll kick it short. It's taken to the 35-yard line, a short return. And Independence will have tremendous field position as Sebastian Green was able to get right on that one. If you remember a couple weeks ago, Tommy, against West Charlotte, Richmond tried those short kicks, and West Charlotte had trouble with it. Weren't able to come up with several of them. A lot of turnovers in that game, and Richmond Raiders were able to feast upon them. But Independence with no trouble there. And they'll come out 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line.
That's the same mentality. You kind of beat me to the punch there. Same mentality that that Richmond had. Keep it away from that deep threat right off the bat.
And Independence goes right to the swing pass. I believe that was Kyle Gregg with it. Takes it out of the backfield, and the junior picks up about 7 yards on that first play. So Anthony Carruthers, Kier Brown, Lawrence Martin, Kyle Gregg, Harold Blythe, Patrick Stewart, Xavier Montague, Bradley Bush, Michael Rhines, all starters for Independence. There's a look at Anthony Carruthers, junior quarterback, out of the shotgun, as he will be almost all night tonight. 2nd down and 3 to go. And Carruthers looking to throw. Throws left. It's caught. Avis capers with it out across the Richmond 40-yard line. That's an Independence first down.
Right off the bat right there, Independence able to move the ball downfield quite easily so far as moving those chains. A little bit of a different mentality compared to last week where they came out firing deep. This time, as you can see on the replay, a little bit more of the underneath routes. Swing pass on the first one, a little out right here on the second play. But still very effective as they move the chains, pick up the first down, and move into Raider territory. Very fast in this game.
Jonathan Diggs and Darius Dawkins in on that tackle. Man in motion for Carruthers, looking right. Pumps, now he'll take it himself to the 35, the 30. And he'll run out of bounds wisely before he takes the hit from Jonathan Diggs. Diggs giving chase, and Carruthers picks up another Independence first down. Just underway here, 10:43 to play in the first quarter. No score, but Independence moving the ball effectively.
Moving it very steadily. In last week's big win against Butler, they did a great job of time management and play control. They actually had a drive in the third quarter where basically they actually had the ball for over 10 minutes in the third quarter alone, went down, resulted in a score. And that shows a little bit of a different style that most people don't understand, the methodical play calling as well.
Little play action. Carruthers has a man. That pass is caught. That's Martin with it. And Martin will pick up the first down and more. Looks like he'll be knocked down around the 7-yard line. Lawrence Martin, rather, the senior wide receiver, with the catch and short run. There's a look at Kier Brown.
You see on the replay right here, Patient kind of goes through his choices and options right here. Is able to find Martin over there on the right-hand side. Martin, obviously, one of their big threats. And, so far you've seen them spread the ball out. We've had a lot of names we've already mentioned on this first drive for Independence.
And I think that might have been Brown as I take another look at it on the replay. Carruthers is going to be stopped as he may have worked his way back to the line of scrimmage. The way he took that snap, Tommy, I'm not sure if he was, or that was just a little fake, but it didn't work. The fake did not fool anybody on the Richmond Senior defensive line.
Well, it was one of those things, like you said, Paul. I don't know, exactly what happened on that, but it didn't necessarily look the way that it was supposed to be played if you're an Independence fan.
Second and goal for Independence. Kyle Gregg in the backfield. And Carruthers looks towards Gregg, now dumps it over the middle, and it's incomplete. The pass intended for Sebastian Green, a tight end.
It looked like Carruthers thought that Green was going to keep going towards the back of the end zone a little bit more right there, and Green decided to cut the route off and stay short in the front part. Carruthers just overthrows on a little bit of miscommunication right there on the read as far as where the route should actually take him.
Third and goal for Independence. If you've just joined us, this is the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. Patriots took the kickoff from their 42-yard line and have steadily marched the ball down the field. Carruthers has it, and he is dumped. And Richmond Senior's visiting crowd lets Independence fans hear it. Phillip Legrande in on that stop for Richmond Senior.
You see Carruthers right here, definitely a design draw right here on that, off the shotgun. But Richmond County doing a great job on this goal line stand right here. And Paul, as you said, Phillip Legrande able to come in with a big hit. He's definitely one of the top defensive players. It looks like Independence is going to try to make a stand right here, going for it here early when they're definitely within field goal range. They're going to try to put the touchdown on here and they're kind of going for the juggler right off the bat.
Patrick Stewart, the Independence center, settles over the football. Carruthers in the shotgun. And Carruthers is going to take another stab at it. Looks for a hole. The fans celebrate, but I think he was stopped short.
Yeah.
The officials.
Side job's already marking.
Waving it off. Richmond Sr. has gotten a stop. Independence making a statement, and Richmond Sr. slaps it right back at him.
Yeah, we talk a lot of times about defenses being able to make a stand. This is a huge stand right off the bat early for the Patriots. That has to give them a lot of confidence, although they're starting pretty daggone deep in their own territory right here. But that has to give them a lot of confidence making 2 big goal line stands right there on those last 2 plays in order to keep the Patriots out. Both times happened to be Carruthers, who was, really, one of their top running backs.
Boy, the work is cut out for Richmond Sr. They really need to get out of this hole, or they're going to be giving the ball back to Independence in pretty good shape.
Well, you have to be careful right here not to get the safety right off the bat.
Tedarrius Wiley is your quarterback, and out of the I formation, they'll go play action, and he'll go right down the field. They've got a man. The pass intended for Gabe Love, but it's incomplete.
Gabe Love, one of the top receivers, along with Lavelle Joy, right off the bat, they're going deep. Kind of a play right out of Richmond's playbook from last week. Richmond came out, went deep on their first play. Independence takes a play right out of that book. Although they misfire, a little bit overthrown. But a big opportunity right there they're actually looking for themselves.
Tedarrius Wiley under center. He'll hand it off up the middle. And a short dive for maybe a yard. Won't even really clear any space for Richmond Sr.
Again,
Lavelle Joy, well, I just wanted to say,
yeah.
Lavelle Joy, Gabe Love are the wide receivers for Richmond Sr. The running backs, Labarrian Jones, and we'll see Alex Ingram in the backfield as well for Richmond. So a big third down coming up here. Richmond's not been able to create very much room, and the quarterback, Tedarrius Wiley, is on the goal line. He'll hand it off to Ingram, and he'll run to his left. Now tries to cut it up and does, picks up a couple of yards. So all that's really going to do, Tommy, I think, is give the punter a little bit more breathing room, but he's gonna have to kick that one out of the end zone.
Let's think back to what we talked about a little bit in that pregame as well. Richmond's offense not on the field very long right there. The defense did a tremendous job while the legs are still fresh early in this game of getting a big goal line stand there on Independence's first possession. But Independence is getting ready to get the ball back right here in great position. Let's see how fresh those legs are for the Raiders right here on this second possession for the Raiders, or excuse me, for Independence.
Cody Threadgill lets it fly. The ball is loose. The ball's still bouncing around, and Richmond, well, no, the official marks it, and well, let's see what happens here. The official indicates that it's Independence ball. Now he changes it. So we'll take a look at it here. Threadgill's punt, tough to handle, and the ball is bobbled by Kyle Gregg. And it looks like Richmond Sr. falls on the football, and the original indication was wrong. The official changes it. That official right there will, just a second after this, will actually turn around and give the ball to Richmond.
You see right there on that, you see Jonathan Diggs able to come up right there with a big recovery on that fumble, jumped on the ball immediately. Special teams playing a big play, big part of this game early already.
And Wiley will go back to the air. And this one also incomplete, also overthrown, and also intended for Gabe Love. So that's the second time on first down Richmond Sr. deciding to air it out. Wow, turnovers so key, aren't they, Tommy?
Well, we mentioned earlier in the game, you cannot afford turnovers. You have to maintain possession, and right here, Richmond typically doesn't do a very poor job on the turnover ratio. Usually they're gaining a lot more turnovers than giving up, but this one right here, hopefully this defense is able to make another 3 and out if you're an Independence fan.
Wiley will hand it off now on the option. Rather, he'll pitch it. That's Sammy Houston with the football. Little stutter step, and he'll be pulled down at the 40-yard line, close to a first down. It looks like a pickup of about 9 on the play. 6:51 to play in the first quarter. Independence took their original kickoff from the 42-yard line, went right down the field, and on fourth down, not able to punch it in. Richmond, in tough field position, not really able to get anything going. They punt it away, but they get a turnover on the punt return, and now they're in business.
Well, basically all that turns out to be was a 30-yard pass play. Is essentially all it was, although it was a turnover. It did exactly what Richmond needed, was clear the end zone, get the ball back, keep your defense fresh and on the sidelines.
Handoff up the middle. Looks like it'll be good enough for the first down as Sammy Houston blasted right up the middle. I'm sorry, that was Labarrian Jones with the carry. Labarrian Jones, wearing jersey number 2, picks up a first down.
Labarrian Jones definitely one of the stud running backs for Richmond, but they have a lot of options as we've already talked about. You've seen the dive play with the option. Coach Hoggard's talked about how the option's a big key for them today, but they do have several other plays they can run, and from the playbook.
3 receivers out for Wiley, and he'll hand it off up the middle. And I think I see a flag in the backfield. A flag on the 45-yard line, so we'll sort that one out. And it'll be a holding penalty against Richmond Senior. 5:50 to go here in the first quarter. And this is really the first piece of bad news for Richmond Senior, a holding penalty.
Yeah, backing them way back. They definitely didn't need it. Right now we're looking at first and 20 instead of second and about 6. Big change right here. I think they're just going to, don't be surprised if they don't come out looking deep again. They've already shown they're not afraid to do it. And sooner or later, they're going to catch one of those for about 30 or 40, maybe even 50 yards as they look to air it out and go vertical.
Well, so far they've gone deep towards Gabe Love, 6 feet tall, 152-pound senior, but Lavelle Joy, 6'3". Let's see what happens. That's Joy, and he's not able to hold on to the football. Jeremy Iglesias came in and slapped that one away. Great play by that defensive back for Independence.
And he is, Lavelle Joy is too good of a wide receiver to drop those kind of balls right there. Looked like it went right in his hands. I don't know if he started hearing some footsteps coming from the defensive backs or not, but Wiley does a great job. Little slant route right there, really should have had that. He would have been going deep for 7 right there. Don't know, like I said, don't know if he started worrying about that, the defensive backs coming in or not.
Well, I think Iglesias got a hand on it actually, but the handoff now a reverse. And boy, I thought he was going to stop and throw it, but there goes Quayshawn Dumas, and he's going to get out to midfield. So that's Quayshawn Dumas, the wide receiver, junior, 5'11", 157 pounds, and looks like it's going to be short of the first down, however, as that holding penalty had Richmond Senior way back, but they are into Patriots territory, and there's another look at it.
Well, and they've been able to come back and fight it to 3rd and short right here as we see the reverse right here with Dumas. And Dumas had a big reception last week too of about I want to say it was about 70-75 yards for the Raiders.
And on the option, the pitch will go to Houston. He's got some room. He'll pick up the first down, and I think he got or rather slipped up, lost his footing, but he's able to get the first down. The ball will be spotted at the Independence 43-yard line.
You hate to see him slip and fall right there, take away potential yardage, but at least he fell whenever he got past the marker, is able to move those chains and keep this play alive, keep this drive alive.
Gabe Love and Lavelle Joy, the wideouts. And the handoff up the middle had me fooled, Tommy. I was looking for Tedarrius Wiley to pitch that football, but the blast up the middle, good for 9 yards. As Labarrian Jones, I believe, had that one.
Labarrian Jones, not very tall at all, small little guy by there in the backfield, but does a lot of damage. You want to talk about small, not a lot of dynamite right there, a lot of power in small packages. He's got it, because he was right up the gut through that line of scrimmage before anybody could blink.
And this time it's a pitch to Houston. Houston has the edge, and he'll cut it up for the first down across the 30-yard line. Sammy Houston. And man, you can just hear it. That Richmond visiting crowd pretty fired up as their Richmond Raiders are coming right down the field.
See, nice, again, with this option play right here in this triple threat offense, Labarrian Jones up the middle in the previous one. Now they go out to Houston with the option. Again, Houston had a touchdown last week. Whenever you have those kind of options right there from a defense, you have to stay disciplined and remember your assignments.
Wiley out of the shotgun. Fakes it to Jones. Looks like it's play action. He'll let it fly. It's caught. Lavelle Joy has it. And he'll be knocked out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
I am not sure how you leave Lavelle Joy and let him get that open right there. Looked like he went down the field, came back towards the sidelines, and came back to the ball a little bit right there. But he is a big target and will put a lot of damage on the defense if they don't keep a contact and keep communication lines on where he's at on the field at all times.
1st and 10 for Richmond Senior. 3:20 to play in the first quarter. Tedarrius Wiley out of the shotgun. Now he'll pitch it. That's Ingram. And Ingram will run towards the sideline, cuts it up. And he'll be knocked down. Looks like he's not able to get out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down and a long 3 to go. Boy, so far Richmond has been able to mix it up very well, Tommy. Running left, running right. A couple blasts up the middle. A little bit of a break, obviously, with that turnover on the punt return to stay on offense, obviously. But after that, they've done it by the sweat of their own brow.
Well, I tell you, a lot of these options and dive plays right here kind of really opened up because they've already shown earlier that they're willing to go downfield, although they haven't connected yet.
That's Jones with it. And he is in the end zone. Touchdown, Richmond. Labarrian Jones, junior running back, runs to the sideline, and the Richmond Senior fans are celebrating. The Raiders strike first, and Cody Threadgill is on the field to attempt the extra point. Diggs with the hold. The kick is up and through.
Turnovers a lot of times are going to pay the difference right here. Richmond County, though, Paul, I agree with what you said a moment ago. The play choices they've had so far, as you see it going right back up the gut right there. Touchdown by Jones. Puts Richmond County on the board early. That, normally you think a punt hurts you, but it actually paid, dividends for him as it ended up becoming a long pass play, and they ended up going essentially 99 yards on that drive, so to speak. Not necessarily the way it would always be termed, but that's exactly what they did. They took it 99 yards and milked out a lot of time off that clock here in the first quarter.
Well, a couple of times in these two drives, or that merged drive, Tedarrius Wiley went deep for Gabe Love and tried to connect to Lavelle Joy. None of those things worked. Richmond really did it the old-fashioned way and very physically went down the field on the ground.
Well, it didn't work as far as connecting on it and having positive yardage on those plays, but what it did, though, is it keeps Independence kind of on their heels a little bit because they know they're willing to throw it downfield, although they didn't connect. And so it keeps them playing honest.
Well, Threadgill kicks it short, and Independence has no trouble with it. They'll get a decent return, and they'll have excellent field position as the Patriots will come out 1st and 10 from their 36-yard line. I believe that's Breon Sturdivant. But honestly, I'm not sure, Tommy. His jersey wrinkled up enough I wasn't able to pick up his number. Anthony Carruthers is your quarterback. The Patriots are back on offense. Carruthers, outstanding, and just a junior. He steps up in trouble, and he'll make it to the 40-yard line. Let's see if he gets out of bounds. He does. Sammy Houston comes over to ride him out.
Have to make sure both times that Carruthers has been able to scramble a little bit and make something happen. Both times he's kind of squirted out on that left-handed side, so they have to make sure to keep those lanes closed and not give him as many options whenever the play breaks down downfield.
Tom Knotts getting to play into his offense. Carruthers will be in the shotgun most of the night. He's got 3 wideouts. A lone back. Looking to his right, now steps it up. He's going to let it go down the field in man coverage, and it's almost caught, but in and out of the hands. That pass incomplete. Lawrence Martin streaking down the sideline, almost able to haul it in.
I tell you what, you want to talk about the speed of Martin. When Carruthers stepped up in the pocket right there, you see a blitz coming from right up the middle from the linebackers. Carruthers steps up and airs it out down that right-hand side. I thought he had overthrown Martin probably about 10 yards when he initially threw it. Martin able to show the speed and catch up with that thing. Almost made a miraculous catch. But
a great play by Carruthers to make sure of that throw. Make sure that it was an overthrow and not an underthrow, because Jonathan Diggs would have enjoyed that one if it had been underthrown. But a great attempt.
And threw it to the outside shoulder as well, towards the sidelines.
3rd down and 5 to go. Carruthers under pressure. They set up the screen. That's Martin with it, and he's up the field. Across the 40-yard line. Breaking tackles. Nailed at the 29-yard line by Diggs. Jonathan Diggs may have saved the touchdown.
Oh, without a doubt. He came out of nowhere across the field in order to do that. I think Independence, beautiful job of setting that play up, letting that rush come through, getting after Carruthers to set up that screen and then get the blockers downfield. Martin, who comes back after, sprinting downfield about 60 yards a while ago, comes right back and able to pick up on the screen play and pick up a huge first down.
Time running in the first quarter. Richmond Sr. up by 7, and Carruthers looking to his right. Now he'll flare it out, and is it caught?
What a catch.
Wow. My, oh my. Great catch by Michael Rhines, the senior receiver, but unfortunately not able to do anything after that, but he made sure of the catch.
That play right there, although, see on the replay, look at this one-handed catch right here, one-handed grab.
My.
Absolutely miraculous. Although he only picks up a yard, it's kind of reminiscent, if you remember the old Terrell Owens catch that he had for a touchdown one time across the middle back when he played for the 49ers, kind of reminiscent of that. Wish he could have kept his feet right there, though. You almost want to reward him by more than a yard when you make a catch like that.
Michael Rhines, perhaps with an opportunity to play on Saturdays next year. Carruthers rolling to his left. He'll get it to Brown. Brown to the 20-yard line and met. So that one will be very close to the first down. We'll see where they spot the football.
Looks like it's going to be a hair short. Looks like the marker's just on the inside, on closer to the 19, and looks like they're going to spot it just outside of the 20 on this one.
Tedarrius Dawkins and Phillip Legrande combined on that tackle to prevent the first down. Time running here, 31 seconds to play in the first quarter. There's a look at Tom Knotts. And don't you think he's a little bit fired up as his Patriots are down in this game at home.
And I don't think there's a more fired up, intense coach in the state of North Carolina when it comes to the game of football than Coach Tom Knotts.
Carruthers looking, fires, it's complete. It's a first down and more. Michael Rhines with the catch and run. Boy, he looked like a tight end on that play, didn't he?
He is a huge target right there, cutting across the middle. Able to catch that, and not only is he able to catch it, but he's able to get a lot of yards after that and kind of just carry a lot of Patriots down the field with him as they get inside the 5.
And there's another look at it is Rhines is awfully tough to tackle. Well, time has expired at the end of the first quarter as we take a look at Rhines being ridden down by the seniors, by the Richmond seniors, the Raiders making a play. That's going to do it for our first quarter of action. We'll be right back with the second quarter right after this. Welcome back, everybody. This game being played at Independence High School. The Patriots 13-0 on the year. They were the Western playoff champion last year, but they lost in the finals to New Bern, and they're looking for another trip back. But they're going to have to beat Richmond Sr. They're going to have to come from behind in this game to do it. Down 7-0. The second quarter just getting underway. The Patriots on first down. And the officials taking a couple of seconds here to get things organized out on the field.
If you're a Richmond fan, you have to be absolutely ecstatic for that first quarter right there and gain a lot of confidence heading into the second one as you move a little bit closer to halftime. But having a 7-0 lead on the road here at Independence, you have to be extremely fired up.
And Carruthers looked like he was trying to call timeout. A flag came in. I'm not sure if it's going to be a delay of game or, well, we'll see. Why don't we just wait? The offsides on the defense.
You have to love that. Moving it closer to a touchdown and you haven't even moved the ball yet.
That's right. We'll just kind of inch the ball half the distance to the goal and repeat first down. Richmond's defense coming in tight. Carruthers hands it off. No indication yet. And it looks like it's going to be short as Harold Blythe unable to punch it in. So it'll be second down and goal.
You see how close that thing is to being a touchdown right there.
Inside the 1 yard line.
See if Richmond County is able to make another miraculous stop down here, because this thing, you only need about 6 inches and you get 6 points.
Second and goal for Independence. Blythe still in the backfield for the Patriots, and Carruthers is under center, and Carruthers will keep it himself, and his initial surge looked like it might have been enough. Now he's going to punch it through. Touchdown, Independence.
Antonie Carruthers on the quarterback sneak.
Anthony Carruthers gets 6 points for the Patriots. Just less than 47 seconds gone.
Yeah, 47 seconds right here into the second quarter. Carruthers able to get his team on the board, and really does it with a second effort right there, because Richmond was fighting hard to make that miraculous stand, and is able to fight it in on the second effort.
And Robbie Ward punches it through and ties the football game at 7.
Score now, Independence 7. And Richmond County 7.
See on the replay here, Carruthers takes it from the snap, shut down right there as he tries to go off the right side of the center. But on that second, and it might even be the third or fourth effort actually, he finally gets in, is able to break the plane. Again, if he had to go more than 6 inches right there, he would have been out, because he didn't pick up very much at all. But luckily those penalties put him in there close.
And have fun.
You're watching the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. And we'd like to remind you that this and all of our games are available on Carolina On Demand Digital Channel 1234. All of our high school football action from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the very beginning of the football season right on through the state championships, available on Carolina On Demand. And as a matter of fact, our state championship games, one will go live on News 14 Carolina on Sunday, December 14th, and the rest of our playoff games all available right here on Carolina On Demand Digital Channel 1234.
At halftime or anytime during the game. That's at the main concession stand near the entrance.
There's a look at Scottie Brewington, who is deep to receive. And it's a kick to Brewington. He'll take it. And he'll be ridden out of bounds as he crosses the 25-yard line.
Scottie Brewington on the return.
So Scottie Brewington with a short return sets Richmond up. And a minute ago we talked about it, Tommy. Richmond Senior, they tried to air it out a couple of times, but then did it the old-fashioned way and got it done on the ground. What do you think is going to happen here on this series?
Well, I think obviously they're going to continue to maintain it on the ground. That's what they've established, and they'll continue to do so with a mixture of that triple threat of going up the middle and the option play. But I do think they'll continue to look down the field a little bit, because the more they do that, the more it opens up the rest of the offensive playbook.
And a short pass out across the 32-yard line. It's Quayshawn Dumas with the catch, not able to do much with it as he's confronted as soon as he makes the catch.
Not a huge gain on that play, but you pick up about 4, moving the steadily right down the field, which again is what they need to do. You'll see the pass to Dumas on the sideline, and again, saw a little bit of slippage right there as he went to try to plant, maybe make a cut back on the inside. I don't think he would have picked up much anyway, but able to lose his footing right now, but still pick up 4.
The fake handoff, now the pitch to Houston. Houston running right across midfield, and a big flag thrown in. Man, that came in near the end of the play. Tommy, we didn't see it, I don't think, on the screen. We'll see if that comes back on the replay. But flag comes in as Houston picks up the first down and heads right into Patriots territory. And it's a big old holding penalty. That'll erase a big gain.
That was a huge gain and a huge penalty right there. You'll see on the replay, just missed it right there. Barrington gets absolutely drilled at the line of scrimmage going for the handoff inside. Houston taking it down that right-hand side right there, really, and you see the big hit right here. on Barrington, but Houston's able to get on that right side and pick up a huge gain, but unfortunately all of that's negated and comes right back.
Well, that fake handoff to Jones, man, he sells it, and he paid the price that time, didn't he? Second down. And once again, it's a fake. It's pitched to Houston, and coming left this time. He'll be hit at the 40-yard line, keeps his feet. Victor Hampton laid a lick on Sammy Houston, but Houston stayed up, and he picks up the first down.
Great job right there of just bouncing off that big hit right there. It was really, I think he said it was at the 49-yard line, which is exactly where the yard marker was in order for the first down. But by taking that hit, rolling off of it, and spinning back inside, he's able to make sure that the first down is without a doubt, no question, and moves the chains.
Robbie Taylor, Richmond senior center, settles over the football. Tedarrius Wiley, the quarterback, out of the shotgun with two backs. Jones has it up the middle, breaking tackles into Patriots territory, still on his feet at the 45-yard line. As that handoff to Labarrian Jones will go for another Richmond senior first down.
Coming back again with another holding play. These are becoming detrimental to the Raiders. That's really been the only thing that's hurt them so far is they're starting to shoot themselves in the foot. It's one thing we haven't talked about. We talked earlier about turnovers, but we did not mention the effective penalties. And so far, they are losing that battle as they continue to back themselves up.
Another big-time holding penalty. 9:44 to go in the first half. This game is tied at 7. And Richmond Senior has been able to move the football on the ground, but a couple of holding penalties slowing things down for the Raiders. Once again, this is the Western Championship game for the 4 AA programs. Independence, undefeated on the year, taking on Richmond Senior. 10-3-1, a tie to Newbern in the first game of the year. Fake to Jones. Wiley has time. The pass is intercepted over the middle. If it's no, it looks like the official on it. And he will say no interception. Nice play by Kyle Gregg. He's not able to complete it.
See Wiley drop back right here, scanning the field, trying to find an open receiver. It looked like he thought Lavelle Joy was going to continue the route across the middle. And I think you said that was Kyle Gregg there. Almost comes up with a great interception. Looks like it squirts through and finds a little bit of the turf, just enough to make it incomplete.
Raiders get a break. Once again on that option. This time it's Alex Ingram with the football. And nearly the same result. Although this time the Raiders not able to pick up the first down. And it's after those holding penalties, each time they get into Patriots territory, they're back where they started from. So they've still got some work to do here. 3rd down and 4 to go.
Instead of 1 step forward and 2 steps back, it's more like 5 yards forward and 15 yards back here on this drive so far for Richmond.
Lavelle Joy and Quayshawn Dumas on the near side of the field. The handoff will go to Jones, and Jones is going to be stopped. Looks like he might have picked up a yard, although the officials, boy, they have spotted that awfully close to the first down.
That is awfully close. They're going to have to measure on this one. And our vantage point right here in the press box, we are right on the line, and we can't tell really. But you'll see it. They've continued to fake it up the middle. This time they go with it. Strong push right there, but Independence able to get a stop and pull him back. It's going to be interesting to see where this spot is and whether or not he had enough. I thought it was a little bit of a generous.
Good look at head coach Paul Hoggard in the green hat. And it's getting kind of cold down there, Tommy. These guys have they've got their gear on, and I know even Coach Tom Knotts, while he's wearing his shorts, he does have his sweatshirt on. But there's a look at Paul Hoggard. He's keeping a little bit warmer. He's got his gloves on as well. And he must be very, very happy with the way his team has come out in this football game.
I think they have to be ecstatic right here, and this is a huge play right here at midfield.
And Jones will slam it forward for the first down. Richmond Senior with not very far to go, but they're able to do it. And they'll move the chains.
They're in a great situation right here. You know, on that drive they had on the score earlier, they were able to just kind of march down the field to pick up that score, 99 yards, and keep their defense off the field. And they're trying to do the same thing right here.
And once again on that option, it looks like Wiley will keep it this time, and he'll be pulled down at the 40-yard line. And I'll tell you what, that option right now is just working beautifully. Independence not able to commit because every time, they think it's going one way, it's going the other way.
Well, and Wiley that time, actually, I really like the decision, just didn't actually keep it. Earlier, I thought he pitched it a little bit early on a couple of the other plays. That time he keeps it, and again, it keeps the defense honest, so they can't always know what's going to happen. They've continued to mix it between the dive and the option, and that time by keeping it, he throws in a third wrinkle to it.
Two backs in the backfield for Wiley, and he'll give it to Jones, and Jones will pick up the first down. And, man, the Richmond crowd gets up on their feet as they're watching their Raiders team take it right up the gut.
Yeah, and just in coming off the field right there for Independence, you see number 55, Xavier Montague, kind of shaking his head right there because they are continuing to just kind of march down the field and keep Independence kind of on their heels, not knowing which way this thing's going to go.
7 minutes to play in the first half. This game knotted at 7. And after a couple of holding penalties, Richmond Sr. still working on offense. Jones will carry it forward, and, man, he is tough to stop, but he'll pick up, maybe 3 on the play as the official will spot it near the Patriots' 29-yard line.
And let's look at the season stats for Richmond this year. They're a lot more balanced between between rushing and passing than they've been in years. They actually have coming in this game, had over 2,900 yards rushing, a little over 2,100 yards passing. So they're going to, they have a quality running attack. And I think you're just going to continue to see that. And I don't, you're going to see a little bit of passes mixed in, but I don't think they're going to do a lot of passing until Richmond actually proves that they can stop the run.
Well, there's a quick pass, and it's caught by Gabe Love. He'll make it down to about the 25-yard line. That'll be short of the first down.
As long as they can continue to have some success with the running and the option attack, why not keep doing it? It does a couple of things. One is they've been able to move the chains, so obviously that's a plus for them. But the other thing it does is, again, it goes back to our conversation earlier, time of possession. They're able to keep control of the ball and keep Independences and keep Carruthers off the field.
Once again, Victor Hampton coming up to make the play for Independence. And he forces a third down and a long 2 to go for Richmond. And now we've got a stoppage. Is it temporary, or are we going to get a timeout? Looks like we'll get a timeout on the field as Independence will call timeout. Well, we talked with the athletic director here at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools earlier today, right here on the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. And we'd like to thank Vicki Hamilton for joining us. And while we're here, we'll talk a little bit about the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system. It's outstanding athletic programs here. And, of course, their academics as well. Tremendous. 14 honor schools of excellence, 23 schools of distinction, 30 schools identified as high-growth schools. More than half of all the graduating seniors back in 2006 took at least one advanced placement course or an international baccalaureate course. So much going on here in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, so much good news. And now we're back to football here from Independence High School. Richmond Sr. on third down, and Wiley will pitch it to Houston. Houston's got the first down and more, picks up a block, gets to the outside, and he will be knocked down at the right sideline. Picked up about 13, maybe 15 yards on that play. Sammy Houston, boy, what can he do with the football after the pitch, huh?
Well, and it's, again, they're looking at the dive to Jones up the middle, coming back out with Houston on the outside. And Houston has actually, so far, just kind of annihilated Independence on the perimeters over there. He's been able to get out, turn the corners, and show a little bit of speed. And it seems like every time he's touched the ball out there, he's picked up, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards and really been able to put a hurting on the Patriots.
The ball on the 9, it's 1st and 9. Wiley goes towards the corner of the end zone. It's in and out of the hands of LaBelle Joy.
Oh my. Had not thought of that. Whenever we talked before the game, I did not expect him to have 2 drop passes here in the first half. Big time receiver, tall receiver, has had excellent hands, one of the most dependable receivers in the state of North Carolina.
And that's the play you expect in that situation. Throw it to your 6'3" senior right in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, and a perfect pass by Wiley on that as well. Threw it exactly where he had to, and unfortunately just squirts right through Joy's hands.
2nd and goal for Richmond Senior. Hand off to Jones. He'll be met at the line of scrimmage, and he will be thrown backward. Curtis Robbins in on the play for Independence. So the Independence Patriots defense getting tough here in a 2nd and goal situation. Bring up 3rd and goal.
What do you think here, Paul? What kind of play?
I'll tell you what, they've been able to do a little bit of everything tonight. Let's see if they go back to the corner of the end zone. Just a guess. It's not going to be that way, though, as Wiley will fake the handoff and then follow Jones as he runs off the right side, picks up a couple of yards, well short of the goal line, however.
I think both of us were wrong because I was thinking maybe going back to that option, coming back towards us with the long side of the field right here. I thought they might go that and try to get Houston out around that corner with the success that he's had.
Well, they've got a very good field goal kicker here at Richmond Senior, and Cody Threadgill, Justin Jr., is going to come out onto the field to attempt the field goal. And I think in this situation, that may have been what they were hoping for, Tom, and maybe catch the defense off balance. If they punch it through, of course, that's great. But if they don't, they get a field goal opportunity. That kick is up and through, and Richmond Senior is up on top by the score of 10-7.
And they have put together 2 extremely long drives, both drives over 10 plays. I think the touchdown drive was about 11 or 12 plays maybe gotten up to 13. Just then, we're looking at about a 15-play drive that resulted in the field goal. But again, more importantly, what they've done is they've taken time off that clock. And now you're looking at about 4:37. Looks like on the clock here for Independence to have to try to come back and answer the points that Richmond County just put on.
Richmond Senior had some big injuries to some of their starters in the middle of the year, had a couple of tough losses, and since then they have been amazing. They've been undefeated, and in these playoffs, after one home game in the first round to Northwest Guilford, they've had to go on the road, and look who they've had to play. West Charlotte, of course, on our show here on the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. They get a blowout against West Charlotte. Nobody expected that.
And shut out Northwest Guilford 35-0. Defense had a huge game there.
They certainly did. And then they had to go through East Forsyth, the number 2 seed on their side of the bracket, also on the road. Now on the road against clearly the best team in North Carolina, and they are taking it to them so far.
Well, and you mentioned that tie that he had in the first game of the season against New Bern, defending state champion, the last team to beat these Independent Patriots.
Once again, a short kick handled well, and the Patriots will have good field position as they get a short return. The ball will be spotted at the 33-yard line. 4:32 to play in the first half. Plenty of time for the Patriots offense.
The Patriots offense needs one play. That's the scary thing about them is all they need is one snap. They need the head official to wind that clock and get the ball in play, and they can put a touchdown on the board.
Anthony Carruthers out of the shotgun with one back in the backfield. That makes 4 receivers available for him. And he's going to get pressure from the end, and he's going to be sacked. Richmond County reading that, going for a blitz from the corners, and they're able to knock Carruthers out before the receivers have time to develop their routes.
And you're able to see right here because they know it's going to take a little bit of time for the receivers to get downfield. And what happens is that defense has been on the sidelines for a long time right there. They have fresh legs, and they were able to come in from the corners right there to get the sack right there and back Richmond up a little bit. That doesn't happen a lot. Didn't happen really at all last week versus Butler, as they did a great job of protection.
Capers and Brown, the receivers on the near side of the field for Carruthers. And now he'll throw it, and it's caught across the 40-yard line. Martin still with the football, almost into first down territory. Now it looks like they're going to spot it just over the marker. So I think it might even be a first down, and now they indicate it. So Lawrence Martin, you'll see it here. He cuts back in, takes the pass, and he's able to break a tackle there, a couple of arm tackles.
Second screen that we've seen right here in the first half from Independence, and both of them have been very, very successful for him. I think on the first one they were able to pick up the first down. as well, and then move it just in. Got it just by the nose of the football.
Carruthers swings it out. The ball is caught. Down to midfield goes Harold Blythe, the running back, out of the backfield with the catch. And now the Patriots are marching. The ball will be spotted about a yard short of the first down. 2nd and 1 coming up.
Again, Carruthers right here. They kept everything so far underneath on the plays tonight. Underneath right there to Harold Blythe. Gets it over to the sideline. Picks up about 9. So now we're looking at 2nd and 1 right here for Carruthers in the offense.
Anthony Carruthers will hand it off. And it looks like Blythe will pick up the first down.
Najee Fleming on that play right there in order to pick up the first down, giving Blythe a short break right there. I think he had an equipment failure after that last play. I saw him running to the sideline holding something. Couldn't quite tell what it was as he was throwing it to the sidelines. But right back on the field right there for the 1st and 10 play now.
Najee Fleming, just a sophomore. And he's a hero on this drive. 1st and 10. Quick hit. That's Brown. And Brown picks up the first down and is slammed out of bounds at the Richmond Senior 30-yard line. 2:21 to play. The clock stops. They'll move the chains.
How many different names have we mentioned for Independence? Really shows all the weapons that they have right here. As you see Brown catch it, and then look at the yards he's able to pick up after the play. Showing speed, showing a little bit of strength right there, and showing a little bit of ballet with a little tiptoe action right there on the sidelines trying to stay in bounds. Nice
play there by Deion Green for the Richmond Senior defense to even get over and make that play. 1st and 10. And the officials will stop it. Looks like Richmond Senior will call timeout. So the Raiders will call timeout. They've got a 3-point lead. The score is 10-7. And their defense has got their hands full here as the Patriots think they can put some points up before we head into halftime.
Yeah, I mean, they've got their hands full, but they have shown on both times that Independence got it down near the goal line. They have showed a lot of strength on that defensive front right there. Pushing those linebackers up, putting a lot more up there in the box, making it difficult. They were able to keep them out of the end zone the first time Independence got down by the goal line threatening. And then on that last drive, although Independence scored, Carruthers, again, it was a 3rd and 4th effort down there. It was everything he had in order to get that ball literally just 6 inches in order to get on the board. But I've been really, really impressed with this Richmond team tonight. A couple weeks ago it was a little bit difficult with all the turnovers that West Charlotte had. But this Richmond team has looked very, very good tonight.
And a Richmond Raiders defense. Call timeout to think about it, talk about it, and plan for what to do here to try to stop Independence. 1st and 10 for the Patriots. Back to action. Anthony Carruthers out of the shotgun. He'll swing it left. It's caught. Looks like they'll pick up about 4 on that play. Michael Rhines with the catch and short run.
And I don't have the stats on Michael Rhines as far as height and weight and everything on the senior wide receiver there for Independence. But I tell you what, he looks like he's got a lot of height on him. He's got to at least be 6'3" to 6'4" over there. He seems to tower over everybody. But you also see a lot of fight in the young man right there. You're seeing a host of Richmond Raiders having to bring him down. He's fighting for every inch he has.
2nd and 6. Carruthers under pressure. He's able to step it up. Picks up the first down as he gets, looks like he gets down to about the 20-yard line, maybe the 19.
I tell you what, Richmond County was bringing it right there with that. It looked like a safety blitz. Looks like defensive back. Looked like it may have been Deion Dawkins trying to come through there. But Independence does a wonderful job of picking up that blitz. I couldn't tell which running back that was. It may have been Harold Blythe picking up the block and picking up the blitz to create a little bit of room for Carruthers to get the first down.
Blythe is in the backfield for Carruthers. Man in motion. And the fake handoff. Carruthers has got it. Running to his right is hit hard. Not sure how much he picked up. Maybe a yard or 2 on that one, Tommy. But man, that's great toughness. Their junior quarterback, just is all by himself out there, and he's going to take a couple of pretty tough hits here.
Takes a couple big hits, but we've seen that so far this year. And looks like he kind of gets bent over right there. That didn't look like, hopefully he's taking yoga when you start getting him bent into those kind of positions. But he's a tough young quarterback. You know, not afraid to put it on his arm and run. We've talked about that in all of our games that we've covered Independence last year and this year. He understands the offense a lot more this year. He's able to manage a game a lot better, and he's going to be a tremendous quarterback next year as a senior.
Once again, you're watching the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week, and all of our games available on Carolina On Demand, digital channel 1, 2, 3, 4. And now's a time when we can kind of blow our own horn a little bit, Tommy. Did you know that we're an award-winning telecast, as a matter of fact? Not only did we win a Telly Award for one of our shows last year, but this year Carolina On Demand's high school sports coverage won the CableFax Magazine Award for Best Video On Demand Program. I'm pretty psyched about that.
Pretty pumped up about that, but it goes out. There's a lot of people sharing this. A lot of people behind the cameras, in the trucks, and everything else to make us look good.
On second down, Carruthers sets up the screen. Green's got it. Does he have the first down? I don't think so. Looks like he's going to be cut down. In fact, he's a couple of yards short of the first down.
Got to look at the time management right here as we go under 40 seconds here in the second quarter. See on the replay right here, again, kind of coming back, going backside on this screen. Richmond doing a little bit of a better job getting out in coverage, making them come up a little short.
And third and short, Carruthers with a quick throw. It's caught, and it's good enough for the first down. The clock stopped with 22.8 seconds to go. A big roar from the Richmond crowd, I thought. Maybe they felt like they got the stop. I thought he picked up the first down. And now I see why. The holding penalties. Yeah. Somebody on the Richmond side saw that the Patriots were guilty of the hold.
I did not see a hold. I did not see a flag, but I saw the guy in the little white hat signal it.
That's right.
That's all that matters.
Avis Capers with the catch and run. I thought he picked up the first down, but that is not to be. As the referee is going to give us the indication, that's a holding penalty against Independence.
And the clock has started. Independence was not ready right here. We're seeing an issue with time management.
And now it looks like somebody's going to have to call timeout. They'll stop the clock with 14.7 seconds to go. And Tom Knotts is on the field with his offense. The Patriots down by the score of 10-7 in this one. They've got a timeout. They've got a third down and about 13 to go. And not a whole lot of time left on the clock.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they just lost 7 seconds off the clock right there. So really, they're going to have to try to air this thing out or try to run it. If not, they're going to have to get up there as quick as they can and spike it. But to be honest with you, if they get a decent length of a run right here, I don't think they won't have time to get up there and stop the clock. Unless they have a timeout. I'm not sure where the timeout's in there. I think, is that the second one I think they've called this half? So they may have another one here.
Coming out of timeout, it's 3rd and 13 for the Independence Patriots. Moving left to right, Carruthers in the green, looking deep. Now he has to step it up. He'll be cut down as he gets across the original line of scrimmage, and it looks like time is going to expire at the end of the first half. Richmond Senior's defense now it looks like, well, no indeed. And time has, in fact, run out. Boy, Tommy, it looked like they were just going to try to squeeze another play in, but they were not able to do it. So Richmond Senior gets what they needed. And that is a big stop and a little bit of help from the Patriots there as we take another look at it. Carruthers cut down. And at that point, there were only about 7 seconds left on the clock. Time expired. We've come to the end of the first half, and Richmond Senior has that 3-point lead. The score is 10-7. This game, of course, being played right here at Independence High School. That's your halftime score. The score 10-7. We'll be right back after these words with our halftime show. Looking forward to talking with Rockingham Mayor Eugene McLaurin. We'll be right back. Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week continues at halftime. Richmond Senior up on top by the score of 10-7. I'm joined now by the mayor of Rockingham, Gene McLaurin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Paul. I'm pleased to be here at Independence tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know mayors have to do a lot of things. They have to go to some ribbon cuttings. They have other duties they have to perform of a ceremonial nature. But how much fun is it to be out on a great night for football and having your guys up in this football game?
Well, this is a great night, and there's a large crowd here from Rockingham and Richmond County. They have really come out tonight, and we're proud of the Raiders. They're off to a good start. Halftime is a good score. We're leading by 3, and we've still got another half to go, though.
11 years as mayor, you've seen some things here with your guys. Of course, the team has been so prolific over the last many decades. How important is it to your city and to the area, that high school and the tradition that your fans have in the way that they support your team?
Well, thank you, Paul. That's a really good question. 35 years ago, actually, 4 high schools in Richmond County consolidated to make one high school, one public high school, Richmond Senior High School, the Raiders. We at that time had a school in Rockingham, a high school in Hamlet, North Carolina. We had a school in Ellerby and a school in East Rockingham called Rohannon High School. So all of them came together to make one high school, and it's really been a source of pride for our community. Folks on Friday nights have really come together, and it's been great for our community.
Well, I'll put you on the spot a little bit. Give us the 30-second, the elevator speech, if you will, for Rockingham, for those in the Charlotte area that may not have made the trip.
I'll be glad to do that. Rockingham is a small town with small town values. It's a great place to live, a great place to raise a family, and it's really just a warm place where people really do look out for one another.
Well, it may be warm, you know, in that emotional sense, but man, it is cold out here on the field tonight. I'm going to let you get up into something a little bit warmer than our seats out here on the field. It's pretty cold tonight.
It is cold. Thank you, Paul. It's good to be in Charlotte, and thank you for your hospitality. And let's look forward to another exciting half here at Independence Stadium tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your guys are up on top in this football game by the score of 10-7. We've got 2 quarters of action left to see who's going to go to the state championships. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the third quarter. Welcome back, everybody, from Independence High School. It's the state Western Playoff Championship game being played here at Independence in Charlotte, and Richmond Senior is on the road to the Patriots, and they're up on top by the score of 10-7. Take a look at us up here at our that's our press box shot. I'm not sure you can even see us. Can you wave for us, Tommy? Oh, now we're down on the field. All right, there's a look at the Patriots. As they get ready to get out onto the field, they're going to kick the football off, and Richmond Senior will have the football to start the third quarter.
This right here has to be almost ideal. I don't think Raider fans could have drawn anything up much more to their liking than having a 10-7 lead right here and the ball to start the second half. And if they can keep this option offense, this triple threat type of scheme going, they're going to be dangerous here in the second half. And Independence just has to try to find some kind of answer to that triple threat offense, because they haven't even had to throw it too much in order to keep them honest. They've been so successful on the ground.
And the kick is deep. It'll be taken at the 15-yard line. And boy, we'll get by one row of tacklers and out to about the 27-yard line. So a pretty good return after all for Richmond Senior. Scottie Brewington with the return, but there is a flag on the play. It looks like illegal block is going to go against the Richmond Raiders. This is Paul Daugherty along with Tommy Love bringing you the action here for Time Warner Cable's high school football game of the week. This in a way is the last of our games in the regular season, if you will, of course, as we've made our way all the way down to the Western Championship game. Next week, of course, the winner of this game will be in a live telecast on News 14 Carolina. That game played at 3 o'clock on December the 14th. All of our games available on demand. And Richmond Raiders will go once again to the air on first down, and it's caught.
Great catch. They finally were able to get it down the sideline to Gabe. Is that Gabe Love, I believe it is. They're finally able to get it down there.
Richmond has tried this play 3 times straight, and this time Gabe Love gets the ball in his hands, and he is inbounds. A great look at it there. Well, there he is stepping out of bounds, Tommy.
I think they're saying that right foot must have been down before the left foot, and luckily they only had to have one in high school.
Boy, Tedarrius Wiley lets that one go, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think that was a good call. It looked like the way the feet were rotating there, it looked like he had his right foot on there right as he caught the ball before the left one went out.
Wiley keeps it on the option after faking it to Jones, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and I was just going to say, Tommy, you know, as I said earlier in the game, they tried these long throws, weren't able to do anything with it. They went right to their bread and butter option attack, and they were able to move the football effectively. But man, that's just gravy when you can get down the field like that.
Well, and I think they want a repeat of the first half. They want another 10-7 half right here, so they win 20-14. And what play did they call to start the game? The deep pass down the sideline to Gabe Love. Didn't connect, but this time they happened to do it. So it looks like it's going to be more of the same as far as the playbook for the Raiders.
Sammy Houston and Labarrian Jones in the backfield, and Wiley on play action looking, has 3 men deep. He'll let it go over the middle of the field. It looks like it might be picked off, and it is. The ball picked off by Kyle Gregg.
Kyle Gregg has had a big day on the defensive side right there for Independence. Picks off a huge interception right here. Starting deep in their own territory right there, but that's what Richmond did not want. We mentioned in the pregame only 1 turnover in the 2 previous. Loses his footing right there a little bit, which causes him to throw it maybe a little bit later than he wanted. As you can see, that ball is well underthrown right there on the attempt down to Gabe Love.
So Independence gets a break, gets a huge turnover, and they get to get back onto offense. Just over a minute gone in the 3rd quarter. Anthony Carruthers is the quarterback out of the shotgun. Nobody in the backfield, and Carruthers is under a little bit of pressure now, rolls to his left. Steps up, and I think he threw it after he crossed the line of scrimmage. So that pass incomplete down the field. But it looks like to me that's going to come back. I think Carruthers is over the line of scrimmage.
And it looks like he's coming off the field right here over towards the sidelines. That right arm's dangling a little bit. Looked like he may have gotten hit by a defender trailing as he scrambled. Looks like they actually caught a hold right there. I was like you, Paul. I thought he was beyond the line of scrimmage when he made the throw.
Well, it looks like they're going to call both of them. There's a holding penalty
as well. Okay, I missed that one. Okay, I'm sorry.
And, yeah, it'll be half the distance to the goal. And it looks like Anthony Carruthers going back into the game. So if he was a little shaken up, it looks like he's fine.
Yeah, I think he was going to the sidelines maybe to discuss the play call, but let's see what happens with that arm. He's moving it around a little bit now. But I think he may have taken a little bit of a hit on it.
The holding penalty is declined. The illegal forward pass penalty is accepted.
And you may hear the stadium announcer giving you the call there. It looks like they'll decline one and take the other. It'll be 2nd down and 15 to go. 10:47 to play in the 3rd quarter. Independence with the football.
Coach Hoggard probably he's probably trying to talk the officials into accepting both of them to move them back even further.
And Carruthers looking down the field. Now he'll get it out to his tight end. And that's Sebastian Green with the catch. He gets out across the 10-yard line. So he gets some of that yardage back. It'll be 3rd down and 7 coming up. Here's another look at it.
See him finding Sebastian Green right here on the side. That's at least the 2nd, if not 3rd catch that they've incorporated Green into the passing scheme here. Picks up a few. Now we're looking at a 3rd down and about 7, it looks like.
Sebastian Green coming out of the tight end spot, and just is uncovered immediately as Richmond tries to get in the backfield. Carruthers gets it in and out of the hands. Man, what a huge hit in the secondary, as Avis Capers almost able to come down with a catch, and you see the Richmond sideline celebrating. Big hit in the defense.
I could not tell which defensive back or linebacker that was, but that was a big-time hit that you used to see on TV on the weekends. See it coming right across right there. That is textbook. Perfect timing. Shoulder down, number 22 right there. Phillip Legrande, one of their top defensive players, probably one of the top 2 defensive players for the Raiders.
Deep to receive it is LJ Stroman. And he's going to take it at the 43-yard line. Now has trouble with his footing. Looks like he'll get up to about the Independence 41. So the Raiders will have excellent field position off of the Robbie Ward kick. 9:51 to play in the third quarter. And Independence getting a big turnover as Richmond came right down the field to start the third quarter, but they're not able to make anything happen.
Not able to capitalize at all right there. Not even able to get the first down. Well, actually had the first down, but the two penalties actually, brought it back. Have to be really impressed with Richmond right here.
And Wiley thinks about the pitch, now cuts it up himself across the 38-yard line. Picks up 3 on the play. And boy, it just seems like all night long, Richmond has been able to execute this option and get meaningful yardage on almost every play.
Well, you mentioned back earlier in the year. Let's take a look right here at this replay here. Wiley does a great job of just deciding to keep it and tuck it and cut it back in right there. Great job by the defensive ends in order to make him think twice and turn that play back on the inside.
A handoff, good for a pickup of about 4 on it. I believe that was Sammy Houston with the catch. No, check it, it's Alex Ingram. Alex Ingram, 5'8", 167 pounds, a senior. Independence's history a little shorter and a little more compact with 7 consecutive state championships in this decade. Carruthers lets it go. In and out of the hands, great defensive pressure. The play made by Jonathan Diggs on Kier Brown.
In Richmond County, Paul, you said that's historically a strong program. They're down in the Sand Hills there of North Carolina, as everybody knows. They've had some great quarterbacks come through there. Mike Thomas being one who went on to a great career in college. As you see the replay right here, great defensive play right there. Able to come across and get a hand in right there on the receiver and knock that one loose.
Big third down for the Richmond defense. Carruthers lets it go. It's in and out of the hands of Ryan, and the ball almost picked off. The ball harmlessly bounces away from Independence's perspective, almost taken away. I believe that was Kasheem Reed with a shot at it. The pass intended for Michael Rhines. And there's a look at Rhines, unable to come down with that one.
Carruthers right here looking at him the whole time, throwing out to his big receiver right there. Long target, not able to pull it in, as it looks like that pass is just a little bit high and a little bit behind his receiver, not able to pull it in.
It was Kasheem Reed on the stop and Jonathan Diggs with an opportunity, but Independence forced into a punting situation, and Robbie Ward gets off a good one. It'll be taken inside the 30-yard line, and Richmond Senior is going to struggle to get a return. L.J. Stroman running the wrong way will be pulled down. It looks like they're going to spot it, though, with his forward progress at about the 28-yard line. So Richmond Senior will have a 10-point lead and the football when they come back out on offense. 7:25 to go in the third quarter.
Paul, I was starting to say a moment ago, as far as the competition that Richmond County has, there are a lot of great teams in Fayetteville. We have a tendency, obviously, in our area of the state here to talk about the great teams that are in Charlotte. There are a lot of great teams down in that Fayetteville area. Douglas Byrd, Fayetteville 71st tonight, playing at home versus South Meck. Bird's still in the playoffs, I believe, up in Raleigh. And you also have Jack Brett. So there are a lot of great teams down in that area of the state as well, and they know how to win.
Houston takes the pitch. This time he's going to be hit as he gets to the outside. Jeremy Iglesi in on the stop for the Patriots. But Sammy Houston able to pick up about, let's say, a half a foot on the play, maybe 6 inches. At the first spot, I thought it might be a yard, but it doesn't look like it's quite that much.
Yeah. The 6 inches he just picked up, Houston, are not quite as important and as big as the 6 inches that Carruthers picked up earlier for the touchdown.
Second down, 9.5 to go, let's call it. Jones in the secondary with the first down across the 40-yard line. The ball will be spotted at the 43, and Richmond Senior will move the chains. And right now, it's just continuous applause from the Richmond Senior sideline.
And I don't think there's a single fan over there sitting in on the stands on the Richmond County side. You see a huge crowd spilling out of the stands along the fence. Some areas over there on the banks, probably, it almost looks like they're 20 and 30 deep over there. Huge crowd and everybody on their feet for the Raider fans.
Wiley on the option play is going to have to keep it himself, and he'll lose a few yards as he's ridden out of bounds. Back at about the 40-yard line. And Wiley was, that's one of the few times that the Patriots were just all over that play. Wiley had nowhere to go.
Well, and for Richmond, the worst thing that could have happened right there was he actually went out of bounds. As he got to the sideline and realized there was nowhere to go and he really wasn't going to pick up the yardage, probably would have wished that he would have just gone down on the field to keep that clock moving. He's got a lot of friends on the sidelines in yellow jerseys. He's got a lot of friends in the stands. But his biggest friend right now in this whole stadium is that clock.
Well, after dodging a bullet on that turnover and being able to put another touchdown on the board, the last thing they need now is a mistake. But Wiley will go to the air. He lets it go, and that ball flies right out into the Richmond sideline.
And there's going to be a late hit, I believe. I think it's going to have. I think the head referee here is going to have his choice as far as who he wants to call. But it also looks like another flag on the play as well, up towards the line of scrimmage.
The officials having a conference. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have offsetting penalties, so no harm done, so to speak. Second down and 14 to go for Richmond. So if you're Richmond Senior, you got to stay away from the turnover. And if you're the Patriots right now, Independence, they desperately need one. They've got to disrupt. They've got to get their hands on that football and try to strip it away.
They've got to be active, as you were saying, got to get in there and have active hands and try to strip this thing. Somehow or another come up with the ball. And the first way you do that is you keep them at the line of scrimmage. You wrap up, look like, was that Labarrian Jones, I believe? It looks like Labarrian Jones. You got to take care of him first, and it looks like we're going to have an unsportsmanlike after the play right there.
As we take a look at it, right, Jones trying to make something happen when there's nothing there for him at the line of scrimmage, and he's wrapped up by Jerian Vaughn.
Yeah. Vaughn, the big fella out there on the front line, as Jones is trying to make something happen and come back across towards the sidelines.
And there's
a big tackle.
Well, there's an unsportsmanlike that'll go against Independence. Jones was tied up, and guys start when running backs refuse to go down, tempers begin to flare a little bit, and Independence got caught that time.
Well, and especially tempers tend to flare whenever you're in a situation you're not accustomed to being in. Right now, Independence is not accustomed to being down 17-7 in the third quarter. How often does that happen?
Their defense averaging, giving up less than 10 points per game. Yeah. So right now they're already in a situation they're not used to being in, and it's not like Richmond's gotten an interception for a touchdown or any other kind of big break. Richmond Senior's offense has moved the football against this defense.
And outside the penalties, they've had a lot of penalties, 7 area penalties this game. Outside those penalties, they have played a miraculous game and given themselves an opportunity to win.
And Wiley is going to have to keep it himself. He falls forward for perhaps a yard, not sure. But the Patriots defense on that one. Looks like they'll spot it right back at the original line of scrimmage. 5:29 to play in the third quarter. Take a look there at Jamie Watson, senior linebacker. And he's had a lot of work to do tonight trying to read that option offense.
Yes, and I'm not sure how many tackles he has tonight, but he's been involved with a lot. He's been active. Watson also comes in this game, I believe he was the leading tackler with about 120 or so tackles for the Patriots as well. So he's definitely one of their big hitters on the defensive side of the ball for Independence.
This presentation of the Time Warner High School Football Game of the Week is available, well, pretty much anytime, 24/7 on Carolina On Demand, digital channel 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots and lots of high school sports available on our Carolina On Demand channel. In addition to high school football, there's the cheerleading competition. We'll have all kinds of action throughout the year. We had women's soccer this year, wrestling, and of course we've got high school football from the East Coast, the West Coast, the Raleigh area, the Fayetteville area, all available on Carolina On Demand, digital channel 1, 2, 3, 4. Your home for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association state championships. On second down, 5:04 to go in the third quarter. Wiley keeps it himself and he's able to get across the 40-yard line. Looks like they'll spot it near the 37, so only about a yard to go for the first down.
Great call right there. He's able to pull it back and pick up about 7 or so yards on that, 8 yards. Looks like we're going to have about a 3rd and 2 right here, but the way they've been able to either dive right up the middle on that or pull it back like you just saw in the replay there with Wiley, or go towards the edge and pitch it out to Houston. They've been able to dictate the strategy themselves tonight.
The spot not as favorable as I thought. 3rd down and 2. And Wiley gets it off. It's going to be incomplete. Pass almost batted away by Jamie Watson, a linebacker who is back there playing defense on that one. And it's going to bring up a 4th down for Richmond Senior. So the Patriots get what they needed, which was a stop. And the Raiders perhaps will elect to punt, although I see Wiley on a sideline talking with head coach Paul Hoggard. And it looks like the offensive unit back on the field.
Wonder if it's going to be a play right here. Do they try to go hard count to see if they can get him to jump? Looks like.
We'll see. Wiley with his backs to the eye. Now they switch. A 2 tight end look. A lone setback. Trying to make the Patriots jump. Now Richmond will stand up. Looks like they'll call timeout.
I thought that might be what it was. One, because I don't know why you want to run the risk of giving Independence the ball right here at midfield.
In fact,
secondly, I saw one of the assistant coaches, it looked like, for Richmond County go running up to the side judge over there, saying something to him as well. So, you know, what do you lose right here? You really don't lose much right here. You're still giving it to Independence, but you're giving it to them deep. And actually what you do is the previous play, you're actually run the risk of punting it into the end zone and giving it to them on the 20. So this right here definitely plays into the hands of Richmond, provided they don't have the big run back with Martin.
And a bad snap over the head. The ball down at the 30-yard line and still loose on the field. Looks like Richmond able to fall on the football.
Wow.
And Independence will have amazing field position as Cody Threadgill saw that snap go right over his head.
Wow.
And that is a huge break for the Patriots. So yeah, just to correct that for a second, Tommy, they did not call timeout. They took the delay of game penalty. And on that long 4th down, you can see it there.
Yeah, and then I'm not even getting it out of my mouth. I think they're going to be in great position. And they have the house snap. It goes right over his head right there. The last thing Coach Hoggard and his staff wanted, they got to make sure to remain calm right here, not to get too emotional, stick to their assignments, and continue to play the defensive game they've had the entire game so far. Contain Carruthers, stay fresh, don't give them the lanes to rush around in.
And Carruthers goes right to the air, right to his tight end, and Green has it. He's down to the 5-yard line. Sebastian Green, a senior, comes barreling out of that tight end position. Makes the catch as we take a look at it. And boy, for a second there, he was all alone in that shot.
It was. The only people you saw in the screen with him were the line up there about 20 yards back. And they're not going to be able to stop him.
Independence getting a huge break as that snap went over the punter's head. And now Independence with a great opportunity to score. And Carruthers is in the end zone. Touchdown, Independence. Independence can do it a whole lot of ways. And one thing you don't want to do if you're Richmond, let's give Independence a short field. Give them an opportunity to score and get that momentum back, that all-important momentum. As we take a look at the cheerleading squad here at Independence High School, they're fired up. And their team has an opportunity to come back to within 3 points, 17-13 to score, and Robbie Ward makes it 17-14.
Well, they survived the first mistake early with that interception. They were able to survive that, hold Independence to a 3-and-out. But they're not able to survive the mistake right there and allow Independence not only to come back and score, but to score quick. It only took about 20 to 25 seconds off the clock right there, it seems like. And Independence is right back on the board. And you see the enthusiasm by Carruthers right there. Not only does he score, but right he breaks the play, and you see the celebration. They are fired up and ready to come back right here. Again, this is a position they're not used to, and they're going to fight to the end until they come out on top.
You see in the background the Independence State Championship banners, 2005, 2004, 2003, 2002,
I think it's 7 straight years.
7 straight. Yeah. Last year they were in the state championship game. They went down in defeat to Newbern. They're undefeated this year, and they feel like this is their time of year. and they feel like this is their game to win, but they've got to come back against a terrific Richmond senior Raiders effort. Those guys have really been terrific tonight. The first big mistake made, and Independence makes them pay.
Yeah, the interception that he had earlier, they're able to hold him to the 3 and out, as I said, but it was also deep in Independence territory right there. The last thing you want to do is turn the ball over and give it to Independence on the short end of the field. I believe they gave it to him right there on about the 30-yard line, 2 plays, and they're in the end zone.
Robbie Ward gets off another very, very good kick. And running out of bounds is the Richmond Raiders return man. I believe that's, is it Stroman? No, check that. Scottie Brewington with it.
You've got better odds than I do if you could see that across the field. You've been eating a lot of carrots lately.
Well, I have. What can I tell you? I don't always get them on the first try, but usually I try to get them on the second try. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. A good test for their offensive unit after a little bit of adversity. And they'll continue with that option, but this time Labarrian Jones with the carry will grind out a couple of tough yards. Patriots defensive front gives way for about 4. 2nd down and 6 coming up.
Tell you, if I'm Richmond right here, I think I continue just to try to run this thing option. Continue to hopefully have a little bit of success with that. Move these chains and again keep that clock moving. I would like nothing better if I'm a Richmond County fan to continue to have this drive going and with me in possession of the ball as we move into this 4th quarter.
Wiley on the option is going to have to keep it himself, and he'll be slammed to the ground. Guys moving around. Looked like players were indicating the ball loose, and Independence had it, but Richmond has the football back. The ball be spotted up near the 30-yard line. As we take a look at it on the replay, let's see what happened here, Tommy.
You'll see on the end right here, they're able to keep him turned in, number 38 right there, and you see Jamie Watson coming through, able to make the big hit. But remembering to do their assignments in order to contain that triple threat right there. You see Deshaun Lindsay, he's the one who's the key right there to keep Wiley from pitching that and keeping him in.
And a break for Richmond if they didn't lose the football. Houston runs away from one guy. Now he cuts it up the field, picks up the 1st down. How elusive is Sammy Houston?
How elusive is Sammy Houston? Very, especially when you have another receiver, one of your teammates on the outside of there. It looked like number 24, Tyon Bird. He's the one who's able to get a great block over here. Watch for the receiver to come in right here on number 4, on number 15, maybe, no, on 27, excuse me. Bird makes a great block. That's what frees Houston up for the 1st down. When you combine a great block with that kind of speed, good things happen for you.
Sammy Houston had to get by Iglesia, and that's a guy whose number we've called a bunch of times tonight, so that was a heck of a play. Wiley with the football across the 45-yard line. Meets a lot of resistance, but it's a good 1st down carry for the quarterback, Tedarrius Wiley.
Wiley on the carry.
I think you're starting to see that Independence defense get a little bit more, continue to get a little bit more aggressive right here. You see Wiley chooses to keep it because the ends, again, are doing a good job with their assignments, keeping them turned in. And you're seeing Independence with some textbook tackling there, wrapping them up and driving them to the ground with a shoulder. Absolutely textbook.
And that was a look at Iglesia, as you said, lowering the boom. Jones with it. Across midfield, 1st down. Across the 45-yard line. Still on his feet to the 40-yard line. Labarrian Jones, a junior, 5'5", and he is tough to find as he comes out of that backfield.
Look how quick he hits the line. Somebody told me not long ago, he gets to the line so fast right there, you look for your keys for very long and the car's gone. He's going right past, he's in the backfield, picks up a huge amount of yards right there. But with that height and that kind of speed, kind of reminds you a little bit of an LT Thomason or a Reggie Bush almost, as quick as he is with the height.
Wiley will keep it himself after offering it to Jones. He'll pick up 5 or 6 yards now. Aaron Glover is in on the tackle for the Patriots defense, along with Jamie Watson, the linebacker, again, who had to come up to make the play. And no matter what happens in this football game, I have to say this is a great response by this Raiders team after giving up that short field, giving up that touchdown.
Yeah.
They could have really They could have really crumpled under that pressure, but they are moving the football here, and they're in good shape.
Well, I know Coach Hoggard have no part of it. You know, they basically have been the underdogs the entire playoffs. Nobody's believed they were going to make it to the next round but themselves, and he doesn't believe in the whole underdog mentality, and, you know, that kind of mentality falters out down to his team.
Wiley pitching it to the tailback on that option play. I don't believe that was Sammy Houston that time. I believe that was Alex Ingram, the 5'8" senior. Picks up another Raiders first down. 31.2 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And the Raiders marching right down the field. There's a good look at it as Ingram is ridden out of bounds.
I've been very, very impressed with the way Wiley has completely managed this game. Obviously coming in, we talked a lot about Carruthers. Everybody talks about Carruthers, and rightfully so. But Wiley has been very impressive as he goes deep.
He's got a man open, and the ball is caught in the end zone.
Gabe Love, I believe.
Gabe Love. Wiley has tried to connect to him a couple of times tonight, and that time he lays it out where only Gabe Love can get to it, and he runs under it, the senior, with a touchdown.
Great pass right there. Great extension by the receiver, Gabe Love, in order to catch that for the touchdown. And how about that? 2 touchdowns. You got to be careful sometimes when they catch and they roll, because that 1-8 and then the 8-1 for your 2 top receivers, those numbers kind of blend together.
Cody Threadgill comes out on the field. His kick is up, and it is right on through. 24-14 is the score, and the Raiders strike right back after giving up the touchdown on 2 plays on the last drive with a tremendous drive of their own. And man, Richmond is doing it the hard way tonight, and they are doing it.
Well, and they're doing it on the ground. They're doing it the old-fashioned way for the most part, which is eating a lot of that clock up. But you see right there, Wiley to Gabe Love down in the front corner of the end zone, lays it out. Again, Paul, as you said a moment ago, puts it only where his receiver can catch that. You see the outstretched arms right there by Love. Yeah, you got to love it. He's got a great last name. What can I say?
Outstanding. And Tedarrius Wiley, just a junior. Labarrian Jones, a junior. So a lot of guys coming back for this team next year. And my, oh my, what a football game we have for you tonight. Cody Threadgill will kick it off for the Raiders. This time he'll let it go deep. And one of the big return men for the Patriots has got it. That's Keir Brown with it. The ball is loose. The ball is loose, and Richmond has it. One of the few times that the Patriots return guys had a crack at it. Keir Brown with a short return. I'm sorry, check that. It's Lawrence Martin with it. And the ball gets loose, and Richmond falls on it.
You see some hard hits right there. You see shoulders on the football. Pops it loose right there. And that is the last thing that Independence could possibly want right there with 16 seconds to go in the third, is to give this thing back to Richmond on the short end of the field. Let's see if they go for the juggler again.
Well, Wiley will pitch it to Houston. Houston tries to turn the corner. He'll be shoved out of bounds, but he'll pick up a couple of yards. 9.2 seconds to play in the third quarter. The clock stops as Sammy Houston goes out of bounds. 2nd down and 8 coming up.
I'm telling you, Paul, if I'm on the Richmond sidelines right there, I'm telling my guys, if you realize you're not getting any more yardage, do not run out of bounds. Lay down, keep the clock moving.
Tedarrius Wiley out of the shotgun. Man, they're going to run that option all night long, and why not? Labarrian Jones. No, it's Wiley. He keeps it. And he's slammed to the ground. Once again, Jamie Watson coming up to make the tackle for the Independence Patriots. And it looks like that's going to do it for the third quarter. When we come back, it'll be 3rd down for the Richmond Raiders. Well, at the end of 3, the Raiders up on top by the score of 24-14. You're watching the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. But let's take another look at that tremendous touchdown as we go to break. Welcome back, everybody. The Time Warner Cable High School football game of the week continues from Independence High School, where the Patriots are in a place they are almost never in, Tommy, and that's behind in a football game. The Richmond Raiders have the football, and we had a little trouble getting in after the break. They went a little quick on us down there on the field, and we've got 4th down after a penalty, and the Raiders have it. And it looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 7. Patriots home crowd gets the noise meters up as they try to get a stop. Wiley once again going towards the end zone. Intercepted. The ball intercepted in the end zone. The pass intended for Lavelle Joy. And the Patriots will have the ball at the 20. I believe that should be a touchback, Tommy. I'm sure he was in the end zone.
Yeah, I did see a signal from the officials right there on that touchback. That pass, while ago, just in a little bit underthrown in contrast to the one on the touchdown where it was thrown out where only his receiver could catch it. This one a little bit underthrown, and defensive backs were able to come up and catch it for the interception. Trying to go deep right there. I think that may have been Lavelle Joy possibly on that one. Couldn't quite tell. The defensive back's doing a great job.
Intended for Lavelle Joy, and Independence goes right to the air. Carruthers lets it go down the sidelines towards Martin. Has it. Lawrence Martin with the catch.
How quickly can the Patriots strike back right there? One play, just a couple of seconds off the clock, and Martin comes up with yet another big play for this year. Down the sidelines, you see a great catch. He just blows right by the defensive backs right there down the sideline. It becomes a track meet. How about a 41-yard pass from Carruthers to Lawrence Martin? It's a 1st down. The Patriots have the football, down 10, 11 to play in regulation. That literally was the 40-yard dash. Carruthers has time. He'll air it out once again. This time it's over the middle. The ball batted away. Great play, defensive play. I believe Scottie Brewington in there to disrupt that one. The pass intended for Michael Rhymes. Yeah, Brewington does a great job right there. The height advantage definitely goes to Independence, but Brewington does a great job. You see Carruthers sees his man going deep. Brewington does a great job of recognizing it, playing center field by there, reading the quarterback's eyes. Textbook on what he should do right there as far as reading the offense and the quarterback in order to break up that pass, where Richmond would have been on the board in 2 plays. Fireworks to get the 4th quarter going. The handoff up the middle. Harold Blythe will be met at the line of scrimmage. And that's something we haven't seen a lot of. The Patriots trying to run the ball up the middle. Yeah, you have not seen a lot of that, and that actually kind of puts them in a little bit of a tricky situation right here. 3rd and 10 now after the big play in order to start this drive with a 41-yard completion. You missed the touchdown pass across the middle now. Don't get it up the middle. Now you're actually looking at 3rd and 11 to try to pick up the 1st down. And look at head coach Tom Knotts trying to get his guys into the state championships once again, and he will earn his pay tonight. If they can do it, they have to come back 10 points and then some. Carruthers connects to Martin. Martin in space at the 35-yard line. An absolute beautiful call right there by Coach Knotts. He knows that playbook as better than anybody. Knows what to happen right here. We're looking for Martin on the pattern, cutting across the middle right there. Looks like he goes about 10 yards and cuts, 7 yards. Able to pick up that desperately needed 1st down. Empty backfield. Carruthers, it's a planned keeper. He's down to the 26-yard line. So Carruthers on 1st down almost gets enough for a 1st down. Although now they're going to bring the ball back a little bit. It looks like the official's huddling, so there may be a penalty here. Yeah, so a procedure penalty against the offense. So erase that one. I want to ask you a question here, Paul. See how many times you've ever heard this question, or statement, I should say. The Patriots, Independence Patriots, desperately need points on the board. How often is that phrase uttered?
Not this season. Not this season.
You can look across the last decade and probably find about 3 cases where that phrase has ever been uttered. But this is definitely one of them right here as they're down 10 with 9.5 minutes to go. trying to scratch back and fight for this thing to find a way to get points on the board.
Independence #1 in the state, in one of the toughest, if not the toughest conferences. Beat their rivals hands down, but they've got everything they can possibly handle against this Richmond Senior team. 9:17 to play in the fourth quarter. A pretty big pickup, but it's still going to be 2nd down and 8 for the Patriots.
I think for Richmond County, it's a lot of contain right here. For Independence to spread things out, let's try to attack, have some running lanes available for Carruthers in case the receivers aren't open. Richmond County just keep everything in front.
Carruthers keeps it himself. There's a flag trailing the play. Carruthers will be short of the 1st down as well as he gets out across the 20-yard line. And I'm afraid that flag is probably going to be going against the Patriots. We'll see, we'll see it here. A holding penalty against Independence. And once again, the Patriots will go in reverse. 8:46 to play, 10 points to score. This is a team that can certainly do that, Tommy, but they want to keep going. They want to keep going forward. That's a very tough penalty.
Well, you know, right when they get the touchback on the interception, 41 plays in about 5 seconds in a 40-yard dash, basically, and then all of a sudden this drive has kind of come to not a complete halt, but almost a little bit of a screeching halt right here. As now they've run an additional 7 or 8 plays and really haven't moved down the field too much. And now with this penalty, they're almost back to where they were after the one big play.
Blythe is the lone setback for Carruthers. Green in at tight end, and Carruthers lets it go over the middle. Pass incomplete. The pass intended for Avius Capers. That one's incomplete. The clock stops with 8:23 to go, and there's another look at Paul Hoggard, the head coach for Richmond, as we take another look at it.
Carruthers going across the middle right here, a little bit underthrown to his receiver. Richmond County doing a great job, though, I think, of continuing to bring pressure, to continue to blitz from the linebacker spots, from the corners with their defensive backs, continuing to put pressure on Carruthers and trying to make him make fast decisions rather than having to sit back and just be able to pick and choose wherever he wants to go.
3rd down and 19 to go for the Patriots. Carruthers has a man open over the middle. Sebastian Green this time not able to chase that one down.
Green, I think, right there. It looks like he also, all of a sudden, right after Carruthers made the pass, it looks like Green actually, looks like he's actually able to kick it into a little bit of a higher gear, but just can't quite get there. But
I think that time Carruthers saw that open space there and decided, I'm going to get it there and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're exactly right, but I think, you've got to judge. This is where I think he's going to be, and you got to throw to it. Huge, big play right here, the biggest play of the year, possibly the season on the line right here for Independence potentially.
Carruthers has time. Now he lets it out. Down the field it goes. The ball batted away, and the Richmond Senior defense comes up huge. The pass intended for Michael Rhines, and on 4th down, the Patriots fail to pick up the 1st down. Richmond Senior will have the football with a 10-point lead and only 8:13 to play as we take another look.
This pass right here, he's got the height advantage with his receivers out there. Although we have help coming from across the top right here from Richmond in the defensive back spots from the free safety. A little bit underthrown right there, although he had the height advantage. Could have just gotten rid of it a little bit quicker.
And great camera work by our man James down there on the field, who does it all and does it perfectly every single week. Looks like that's going to be a false start, I think, against Richmond Senior as they whistle it dead.
False start.
Yeah, anytime you have that many flags coming through, it's basically a unanimous pick right there what the call is.
Well, Richmond was working out of the I formation. They haven't had to do that very much tonight. There's another look at Paul Hoggard in the yellow jacket. The cap on his head. It's a pretty cold night here. This game being played on December the 5th.
And I think Coach Hoggard looks a little bit calmer over there than I do, at least on the outside. Looks pretty calm as he's trying to get through this 4th quarter alive. And
with that 10-point lead, they can work out of the I formation. Wiley can handle the ball from under center. They don't have to worry about the possibility of a loose snap. Alex Ingram. picks up maybe a yard on that play. But they have a long way to go after the 5-yard penalty.
Oh, yeah. Again, that seems to be the only kind of Achilles heel they've had the whole night. It seems to be the only thing that's really stopped them, at least consistently, or themselves. And they're going to have to eliminate that right there, you know, in order to get through this and move on to that state championship game. 7 seconds on the play clock, and they'll trigger the play. Wiley will let it out. Lavelle Joy drifts back. He's got it. And Lavelle Joy will trot into the end zone. Touchdown, Richmond Senior. They have not called that play too often tonight. They've been very selective when they've done it. I think that's the 4 times now they've looked for the bomb down the sidelines. 2 out of the 4 times big plays. And on this one, I don't want to be premature because of how quickly Independence can score, but that right there could have done it. It definitely gave a lot of confidence to Richmond, if nothing else, at this point. Cody Threadgill, junior kicker, in to tack on the extra point, and a flag flies. That'll quiet things down. 2 touchdowns tonight for Lavelle Joy. And man, I can't wait for the replay. That was a phenomenal play. Gets behind his perfect timing on the pass right there as he leads his receiver the way he should. He's able to run right into it, break an attempted tackle right there, and able to just basically walk into the end zone. Threadgill is able to well, no, that was, I think that might have been hit actually, Tommy, and it's going to be missed, so that extra point fails. But Richmond County may have a commanding lead. Independence has that kind of offense. They have those kinds of special teams players. They can do this, but they've got their work cut out. Yeah, and that's the reason I'm very, very cautious, you know, at my comment a moment ago to say, you know, a potential nail in the coffin, because I can tell you right now, if there is any team, not only in the state of North Carolina, but probably in the country that can put the kind of points on the board you need right now, being down 16, it's Independence. And so I don't think anybody in this stadium is going to breathe a sigh of relief if you're a Richmond County fan until that last horn goes off, because Independence can put the points on the board in a heartbeat in the blink of an eye. Only one time tonight have they kicked it deep towards Lawrence Martin, and that time Lawrence Martin lost the football. As we take another look at this huge touchdown play, boy, that is just a thing of beauty. Yep, absolute perfect. He's able to get behind, I think that's Breon Thornton right there, in order to create a little separation and score that touchdown. And Richmond Senior will stay away from trouble, kick it short. Sebastian Green able to struggle forward to about the 45-yard line. Well, here's the situation. 7 minutes, 13 seconds remain in regulation. And the Patriots are down by the score of 30-14. 16 points. It's a lot to make up. Their first play from scrimmage on the on their last possession was the big 41-yard pass down the sideline. Let's see how far they try to go vertical down the field on this drive. Sprint out, pass complete to Martin. And Martin picks up the first down, steps right out of bounds. Only a couple of ticks off the clock. 7:08, and that's a first down. Incredible. Exactly what they need right there. They moved the chains with one play, only a few seconds off the clock. Exactly what they needed. Continue to work the sidelines, continue to work their athletes. Like we mentioned the entire game, they've got a lot of threats over there on what they can do. You know, you've got Lawrence Martin, which we've mentioned a lot tonight. You've got Brown, you've got Michael Ryans, Sebastian Green at the tight end spot, Harold Blythe, and running back. They've got all kinds of options. And they set up that back screen to Martin. And this time Martin is dumped in the backfield. Richmond Senior's defense getting it done that time. It looks like there's a flag on the play as well. And it's a face mask. Oh, wow. A face mask against Richmond Senior, so a huge penalty. That is the absolute last thing that Richmond County needed right here. And perfect timing for Independence to be able to pick up the first down with there. The clock will run. Under 7 minutes to play. 1st and 10. Carruthers sprints to his left,
lets it go towards Martin. A little bit of contact, but the ball well overthrown. No penalty called as Scottie Brewington got tangled up a little bit with Lawrence Martin.
Yeah, there's so much distance right here between receiver and the ball. I think it's just a simple matter of fact that it's an uncatchable pass anyway, although there was a little bit of contact there between receiver and defensive back. No way, I don't think he would have caught up to it anyway.
Defensive back was Deion Green for Richmond. 2nd down and 10. 6:46 to play. Greg in the backfield, sprints out, gets it. He's going to catch it, but he's going to fall to the ground in Raiders territory. Looks like they'll spot it near the 49-yard line. So Kyle Gregg coming out of the backfield makes the catch, but he can't keep his feet.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of players slip. You know, it happens sometimes on field conditions at this time of the year. As the Bermuda grass goes dormant, it doesn't quite have the footing that it has, and during the winter months, the ground becomes a little bit more slippery. It gives away a little bit more.
A huge 3rd down for Independence. 4 receivers. Carruthers gets it to Martin, and Martin tries to operate and then is thrown out of bounds. Tackle made by Phillip Legrande. But Martin able to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Stops the clock right here. They're able to move the chains, and that play, Martin was open the entire time right here. You see him able to create find a little gap right there towards the sidelines, and again, Richmond County, while they're not kind of holding up the receiver, making sure he's staying inbounds, I'm not quite sure, because I would definitely want him to stay on the playing surface.
Carruthers connects over the middle. Huge hit, but it's a 1st down for Independence.
I believe that was Scottie Brewington with the big hit right there. Again, just lowering that shoulder, putting it right into the receiver. Move the chains, but gets him down quickly afterwards, so there's no damage after the catch at least, in order to minimize the impact.
Brewington with a nice hit. 1st and 10 for Independence. Time a factor, down 16. And a man, I think, broke a little too quickly.
Yeah, I believe they got on that inside slide right there. I believe that was Capers. A little bit of a false start right there, trying to get down the field as quickly as possible. I think he understands the sense of urgency that they have right now.
The whistle stops the clock. They'll repeat 1st down. It'll be 1st down and 15 to go. And no matter what, Independence has to score now, and they have to score quickly.
And they've had some success going across that middle, 15 to 20 yards deep as well with some of those taller receivers.
The pass intended for Capers. He's got it. That might be why Capers was so excited to get off the line on that play a minute ago, Tommy. He knew it was coming to him. That time he did the same thing, but he waited till the ball was snapped. He broke immediately on the ball. Cut across the open space in the middle of the field.
You see it right here. He's able to find the gap right behind that front line of defenders right there. Great pass by Carruthers. Great catch. And again, right across the middle of the field. They've been able to have some damage there the entire game.
1st and goal. Carruthers trying to follow a block. Is crushed in the backfield. Big play by Phillip Legrande to get in.
Legrande has had several key tackles tonight. This right here being one of them. Able to get in there. Seems to have a kind of a radar, kind of a laser right onto the ball. He knows where the ball is at. He knows where he needs to be. Gets in there and plugs that hole. He read Carruthers the entire way, knowing the situation.
Carruthers will work under center. Patriots will move personnel around. Sebastian Green will settle. And a handoff will go to the tailback. No, that's Carruthers still with the football. And Carruthers slammed to the ground by Sammy Houston. I bit on the fake.
I did as well.
But the Raiders defense did not. And Sammy Houston makes a big play.
By the time I realized where the ball was, he was already being tackled. I was getting ready to call out touchdown Patriots, and the next thing I know, they're going down with a sack. actually saw the defensive end over there on that side. I saw him coming through untouched, but I really thought it was a handoff.
A 1st and goal, now 3rd and goal from the 11. Carruthers looks towards Capers, but now he connects it to Martin, and Martin's in the end zone. Touchdown, Independence. 3:24 to play, and Independence gets one of the 2 touchdowns they desperately need. Down 16, will they go for 2 here?
I think you go for 2 and you go for 2. Try to get the ball back, do an onside kick. Go for 2, 8-point game. Try to get the ball back.
And it looks like Independence is going to call timeout to think about it. Head coach Tom Knotts on the field. Independence with a decision to make. Down by 10 as we take a look at that touchdown.
Great call right there into Martin. Able to catch it right at the goal line. As soon as the ball gets in his hand and he has control, it's a touchdown automatically. Able to chip back into this deficit just a little bit. 10-point game now. Now you have to go into the mastery of what kind of play do you call. Do you go to one of your taller receivers with a little pass to the corner? Do you keep it with Carruthers and let him kind of sprint out and make some options? He can either run it or maybe find a receiver. I kind of like that option. It doesn't, given his mobility out there, I like the fact of trying to move him out, let him make a decision. Can I throw it, find a receiver, and also having the option to try to run it in. He seems to typically always make great decisions with that. And I'd almost hate to kind of throw it up and play all my, put all my eggs in one basket on a automatic pass to the corner.
Well, a 2-point conversion here gives them the possibility of scoring another and getting another 2-point conversion. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-score game. Carruthers with a little delay action now fires it towards the end zone, and he's got it. Lawrence Martin picks up the 2-point conversion as Carruthers was dumped as he threw it. And so far, so good. If the Patriots are going to come back, they get their touchdown and their 2-point conversion. They're within 8.
And that right there looked like a completely broken play. When that ball was snapped, everybody just kind of looked like they stood there for a second. Carruthers kind of sprints out all of a sudden, is able to find Martin for the 2-point conversion, but everything, that play looked so funny and awkward when it first was snapped. I thought maybe there was a flag and a whistle on the play initially.
3:24 to go in the football game, Tommy, and I guess there's a big decision to be made. Do they go for the onside kick? Perhaps they do, and in either case, they figure, hey, our defense has got to make a stop anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's do it there, and maybe we'll get lucky on the onside kick.
And as successful as Richmond County has been with that option offense with the triple threats and keeping that thing on the ground, their thing then is just to keep it in bounds, and there's only 3:24 to go. So, Paul, I'm like you. I would almost go for the onside kick and try to get this thing back, and if you're able to recover, you're in great field position with more than enough time to go down and try to have a touchdown on another 2-point conversion.
Well, you see it there. The 4 2A NC State champions, 2001 through 2006, 7 in a row. They were in the 2007 championship game with New Bern. New Bern won that game, of course. And this year, Independence undefeated on the year, down by 8. 3:24 to play. No matter what they do, they've got to get the ball back in a hurry. Let's see if they go for the onside kick. Robbie Ward will kick it deep, and the Patriots will take their chances. From the 16-yard line, that's Sammy Houston. He's got speed, breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet out to the 30-yard line. 3:15 to play, and Richmond Senior's offense, they've got to do it one more time. They've got to get at least one first down, and they've got to manage the clock.
At least you have to manage the clock. You hit both of those nails on the head right there. You got to manage the clock, stay in bounds, keep that clock moving. But you got to move the chains at least once, and you cannot have a turnover. It's as simple as that. And you see Sammy Houston right here being a little bit of a bulldog right there as he refuses to go down, almost breaks that thing open right there. Last tackler is able to corral him down, almost breaks it free.
Big running unit on the field. Tedarrius Wiley hands it to the tailback. It's a short gain as Alex Ingram slams into the defensive front. It picks up maybe a yard. Looks like he'll be shy of it. And Richmond is going to let the clock run as much as they can. 25-second play clock in high school, and Richmond is just going to let it slowly work its way down as the game clock is down to 2:45, and it, of course, is running.
I'm almost surprised they came out of the huddle quite as quickly as they did, and now they're just having to stand there at the line of scrimmage.
Tedarrius Wiley now settles under center, and he'll trigger the play. Ingram cuts it up the field, picks up maybe another yard. Looks like they'll extend it out. It'll be 3rd down and 7 to go.
Independence being very, very aggressive right here. Nothing to lose. They're coming at it hard, trying to knock the ball loose if at all possible.
Jeremy Iglesias came to the sideline to get the defensive call. The fans here on the home side of the field on their feet, fired up. 2 minutes to play. A huge 3rd down series for their defense. Independence has to get the football back here. Can Richmond deliver the final blow on 3rd down? The pitch out, the cutback. It's Ingram. He's in the defensive secondary. It's a 1st down and more into Patriots territory across the 30. Knocked down inside the 20-yard line. The Richmond senior fans go crazy as Alex Ingram tears the Patriots up here for a 1st down.
There is no bigger play right there. Great job. Independence coming hard at him. He does a great job of reading and going back against the grain right there in order to free it up and take really what was very little and knocking it to a huge gain.
Richmond Senior had one home game in the playoffs. They've been on the road ever since. They played West Charlotte, a team they were not favored to beat, to say the least. A team they frankly destroyed in an offensive display.
And if they're able to pull this one out, they're more than happy to play on the road next week.
Go on the road to East Forsyth, win that football game. And Alex Ingram picks up about 8 on the play. It looks like Independence will call timeout with 1:09 to play. Well, if you think this has been fun, just wait until next weekend, when Time Warner Cable covers all of the state high school football championships from the 1As through the 4As, the 4AA game live on News 14 Carolina statewide on Time Warner Cable. All of the state championship games will be available on Carolina On Demand, digital channel 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a look at the Richmond sideline. And here's a look at that huge run as Alex Ingram just dances away from Patriots tacklers. Jamie Watson has had a lot of work to do tonight, and he's just not able to make that tackle.
Well, and given the game situation that they have right here, you know, as we go into about 1.5 minutes to go when that play took place, they're so anxious sometimes you over pursue and you go beyond your mark of where you're supposed to be, and it allows for that big grain cutback that he has and able to pick up a huge play.
Ingram will pick up the 1st down. He'll struggle down to about the 5-yard line, and they'll move the chains. Richmond Senior with another 1st down, and it'll be 1st and goal. The Raiders 10-3-1 on the year. 2 losses in that very tough Mid-Southeastern Conference. But since some mid-season injuries, they have been undefeated. They have been outstanding, and they've got a great chance to salt this one away here, Tommy.
Well, it's funny. I've talked to people down in the eastern part of the state, and one of the things that I've heard is you know, some people down in that area of the state feel like, you know, this may not be the best Richmond County team that they've had in quite a while, especially given the fact that they had 3 losses earlier in the year. Sometimes people, you know, didn't take in, you know, full account of some of those injuries and what those injuries have meant, and sometimes you ended up with a mass unit and a mismatch of personnel there, people playing out of position. But Richmond County has put it together, and they are playing at the absolute best they've ever played at the absolute perfect time.
And as I've said several times, you know, they had a couple of big pass plays, but for the most part, they executed that option offense, and they took it right to one of the best defenses in the state, if not the best defense in the state, and they got it done tonight. A minute 4 to play, and it looks like Richmond is going to take a knee.
Yeah, Paul, you're right. They have used that option offense tonight to perfection, in my opinion. I don't think you could have expected them to run it any better. I know personally I didn't. Maybe I just underestimated, and I'll be the first to admit that right here. As strong as Independence has been, but they have played tremendous, and they have run their offense, and they have executed pretty much to perfection with the exception of those penalties.
As we are here at this game, December the 5th at Independence High School, Jack Britt from Fayetteville is playing Wake Forest Rollsville in Raleigh. One of those two teams will be the contender. We get the word now from our producer that Jack Britt from Fayetteville has won the football game in the Eastern bracket, and it looks like Richmond Sr. will take on Jack Britt. If I'm not mistaken, those are two teams in the same division, in the same conference. So Richmond going out to the Western bracket, and Jack Britt in the East from the Mid-Southeastern Conference. Two conference rivals will play one another in the 4-2A game live on News 14 Carolina. Tedarrius Wiley takes a knee, and I love this call by head coach Paul Hoggard to take a knee. A first and goal situation. They could have tried to run up the score, put some more points on the board, but instead they let their fans enjoy as they take a knee and allow the clock to run.
I'm sure he wants to get on that bus as quick as possible.
20 seconds on the play clock, 35 seconds on the game clock. The Raiders fans chanting their approval as Richmond Sr. on third down has the luxury of taking a knee once again. Tedarrius Wiley takes the snap, takes the knee, and that is going to do it. Richmond Senior High School will win this football game by a score of 30-22 on the road at the #1 team in North Carolina, Independence. Richmond Senior has done what they needed to do to get a rematch against Jack Britt. Congratulations to Richmond Senior as they are the Western champions in the 4-2A category. Our Time Warner Cable High School football game of the week will continue with our post-game show right after this. Time Warner Cable High School football game of the week continues here in our post-game show. The Richmond Raiders have done it. They are the Western champions, and they are going to the state 4AA state championship. This is Paul Daugherty along with Tommy Love, and I'm joined by Richmond Raiders athletic director Hal Schuler and head coach Paul Hoggard, and a special guest including the trophy presentation tonight.
Luke, my son.
Luke Hoggard is joining us on the field. I'll start with you, Coach Schuler. We talked before the game. You were the lone voice in our pregame show predicting a Richmond win. How does it feel tonight?
Well, it feels great. You know, we've got to credit our kids. Our kids played so hard. You know, they really gave their hearts and put it on the line. Independence, great team, great program, and we're happy to win and real proud of our staff and what they've been able to accomplish.
Well, as you know or may know now, Jack Britt is going to be your opponent in the state championships. That, of course, a conference opponent of yours and a team that you beat during the regular season.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Jack Britt's got a fine football team, and of course we're very familiar with them, and but we're excited to take a deep breath tonight and enjoy this one and probably get back to work tomorrow.
Well, Tommy, I'm jealous, but you get to talk with our victorious head coach, Paul Hoggard.
Well, Coach, this is 2 times, I guess, in the past 3 weeks that we've been able to have you, and both times you come up victorious. Tonight, you guys ran, I think, that option, that triple threat offense to almost perfection, really, in my opinion, at least. Talk a little bit about that and the options that you guys have, and just how dangerous Wiley is, and Houston, and Jones, and all the other threats that you guys have.
I don't know about running it to perfection, but they did a good job in the second half making some adjustments and really making it tough on us. In the option game, you know, you don't want to get in long yardage situations, and they got us in some of those situations. The key to it was that, you know, some of our players made some big plays. You know, Lavelle Joy came up and made some big plays. Gabe Love, you know, in the passing game, were able to make some big plays, and then Alex kind of sealing it there at the end with the long run there in the fourth quarter. So, you know, those guys are seniors and have put a lot into it over the years, and it's great that, you know, that they can come and finish this out and get this game. But, you know, that's what you want. You got to have kids to make plays, and they did.
Yeah. Well, as Paul mentioned, it sounds like, from at least what we've heard, it sounds like you've got Jack Britt next week in the state championship. with Britt being in your conference, do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage because of the fact they know you, or an advantage? What do you think about the opposition next week?
I'm just glad we get a chance to play. That's what somebody was asking me.
Patriots almost had a phenomenal comeback in the football game. Richmond able to force that, or Independence forcing that third down.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe this is going to be that moment where they get Richmond in a corner and they get the football back. But Alex Ingram breaking that big run, gets that first down. Tedarrius Wiley and crew able to run out the clock and seal the victory. Richmond Senior, the Raiders, the Western 4AA champs, they're on their way to the state championships. That game will be live on News 14 Carolina on Sunday, December 14th. And Tommy, it has been a pleasure working with you again this year in the Charlotte region, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Oh, without a doubt. It's always a blast. I look forward to the opportunity next year, and as I think you're going to be covering some of the state championship games, have a blast with it, because I know it's been a lot of fun so far this year.
It'll be my pleasure to reconnect with Greg Mayer from our Eastern branch in Raleigh for the 3A and 3AA games. Those games, of course, on Carolina On Demand Channel 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, for everybody here at Robert Warren Mobile Television Productions and Time Warner Cable in the Charlotte region, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. It's been an outstanding football game. Richmond has won it by the score of 30-22. They go on to the state 4AA championships. We wish them luck. For Tommy Love, this is Paul Daugherty saying good night.